He had nothing left, and they knew it. Please, not me. Our best hero should have been Evan. Don't say that. He could have stopped it all? If only that had happened, of course. If Sir Chris, the 10-star hero, had been a little earlier, with his genius swordsmanship and surpassing abilities, perhaps things would have turned out differently. Evan reflects on his journey, noting how a nickname and unexpected opportunity shaped his path. His escape from a cursed legacy began one fateful day at 20. The Magic Empire stands on the brink of destruction, its image marred by the invasion's chaos and carnage. Recruiting? For a party that will decide his fate, Evan wonders. He vows to achieve greatness, honor, and wealth in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Evan wishes he could turn back time, but his regrets persist. Evan dismisses the idea of changing his past, finding it futile. Any hope for a better future seems pointless now. In my next life, but if it does, I regressed. Time rewinding to a different beginning. Magic Empire. Into the body of a young master of one of the 12 clans 15 years back. This place is the Magic Empire, a realm where dark magic clans thrive. 15 years back in time, Evan finds himself reborn as one of them. The name suggests ominous support for demon beasts. Evan reflects on his return to 5 years before the Age of Destruction, regretting his past experiences. Christian von Baren-Khazar, the prince with the key, knows Evan's identity now. Christian questions Evan about his family and clan, probing for more information. Christian von Baren-Khazar continues to press Evan for details about his family and clan, hinting at underlying tensions. Christian von Baren-Khazar's smirk widens, sensing he's on the right track. Evan's frustration simmers, each word a struggle to maintain composure. He laments his recent regression, barely containing his anger. He ponders, his expression a mix of confusion and anger. Why must he face this? What is his fate now? Christian's words about his impending death carry a tone of resigned bitterness, hinting at the stark reality he faces. Christian's words about his death resonate with a heavy sense of inevitability. Evan contemplates his own fate, realizing he may never have the life he once envisioned. Ragnarok, the reason the war began, to bring humanity to an end, the Demon King of Carnage. Christian von Baren-Khazar will die to end the Dominion of Light and stop the Demon King's reign. Christian contemplates becoming stronger to stop the Demon King's reign, but acknowledges the difficulty given the Demon King's power and the countless fiends he commands. Christian contemplates his next move, weighing the odds. The Magic Empire's fate hangs in the balance. Christian clenches his fists, determination burning in his eyes. He declares he will seize this chance no matter the cost. Christian steps forward, his tone firm and resolute. He demands Evan's presence in his room immediately. Christian's voice is firm, leaving no room for argument. He wants Evan to understand his seriousness. How about this last attempt at humor? Will it finally land? Evan reflects on his past actions, realizing his mistakes. His heart beats with a mix of regret and determination. Christian looks stern, his voice commanding as he demands Evan's compliance. He will send Evan to the punishment cave, expecting him to remain there for a month. Christian's tone is firm, leaving no room for defiance. The punishment cave looms dark and foreboding, its entrance a stark contrast to Evan's current position. Christian's tone leaves no doubt. The punishment cave is a place where senses are drained and light is non-existent. It is perfect for his purpose. Father's voice carries a mix of reassurance and doubt. He believes in you, but questions if it will last. Young Master's tone is resigned yet determined as he challenges Christian to one last conversation. Christian, however, sees through it, his words laced with disappointment and accusation. Death is a fitting sentence for someone who cannot protect their own clan. Christian's determination shines through, unyielding and firm. Understood, Christian remains resolute in his stance, unshaken by past disappointments. Christian's request carries a weight Evan can barely sense, though it remains unspoken for now. Evan's fate hangs in the balance, unspoken yet heavy with possibility. The young master, half vampire, stands prepared in Count Khazar's house. The butler's punishment cave looms ominously behind him. Heard? Have you remembered something, young master? What punishment is he up to now? The recent incident where he insulted a rival clan's lady, it wasn't nothing. Young master seems to be grappling with the Count's recent scheme, possibly involving embarrassment or a public apology. The situation is tense and unresolved. 2 days tops, how long do you think he'll last in there? I said to 2 days tops, how long do you think he'll last in there? Christian stands before the young master, his expression stern as he introduces them. Christian's tone is firm as he addresses the young master, his gaze unwavering. The cave's entrance looms ominously, stretching from the point of entry to where death seems to halt all magic. Christian's voice carries a tone of authority as he speaks to the young master, his words clear and decisive. Taran van Baren-Khazar steps forward, his expression unreadable. Taran van Baren-Khazar's tone is sharp and unyielding. Christian's voice carries a menacing edge, leaving no room for misunderstanding. He seems set on delivering a harsh message, his tone unwavering. Christian's voice drips with disdain as he speaks, his tone unyielding. He clearly warns Evan, leaving no doubt about the severity of the situation. Christian's voice carries a tone of finality, leaving no room for misinterpretation. Evan stands silently, his expression unreadable. Christian's tone is firm, leaving no doubt about his serious intent. Evan remains silent, his expression still unreadable. Christian's voice booms with authority, leaving Evan stunned into silence. Evan senses Christian's resolve harden, tension building in the air. Christian's fingers hover over the key, his vision narrowing to a pinpoint focus. The faintest sensation clings to Evan, like a shadow on the edge of awareness. Death is but a place, a void to be brought into existence. Yet, that faintest sensation clings, a shadow on the edge of awareness. Of course, it requires more than just breaking one's body and blocking off the five senses. Without it, time and luck alone cannot overhaul such a condition. Christian van Baron Kazar's resolve is unwavering. The key glows faintly in his hand, hinting at his determination. Christian's resolve remains steadfast as he holds the key, its faint glow a silent testament to his determination. Evan watches, struggling to comprehend the gravity of the situation. Christian holds the key, its light barely visible but steady. White mana flows across Evan's body, causing him discomfort. Evan's discomfort grows as white mana continues its purification process. But this is a cakewalk to me. 1 up to E4, UC74, CUCC4, UCF4, UAXOR, UACT, E1. Christian seems unfazed, offering a calm response to a question or concern from Evan. Evan wonders how a child could have such a promising future now broken apart. Christian's resolve is unshakable, even in the face of ruin. His actions speak volumes, and Evan can only watch in growing tension. Evan contemplates Christian's resolve, realizing the gravity of the situation. Christian remains steadfast, his determination unwavering despite the dire outcome. Christian remains resolute, his determination clear despite the impending danger. Evan stands by, realizing the gravity of their situation. Christian's resolve hardens, his eyes unwavering. Evan stands by, understanding the dire situation. By now, he must be a wreck. 1 month later, Christian stands, the key in hand, looking expectantly at Evan. Christian's gaze is intense, challenging Evan to respond. Christian's laughter echoes, challenging Evan with unyielding eyes. Evan's frustration grows, each word a challenge to the old man's methods. Christian's grin widens, clearly enjoying this exchange. Christian van Baron. Kazar's grin widens, clearly enjoying the young master's frustration. The young master chuckles darkly, his irritation evident in every syllable. In theory, his transformation drastically reduced the time needed for hallucinations. He created 2 cores, not to brag yet since he's still refining them. Light core flickers weakly. Still a 1-star spell, Evan tries to hide its presence. Needlessly, he fears discovery by fiends despite his best efforts. Things ending there would have been great, but Evan clenches his fists, frustration seeping through. Fine, I will break down a mess. You're on, forward. Speak, since you have a request. Please let me use the Black Knight's training ground to make something of myself. He speaks of his clan's place among the elite, yet hints at its darker nature. Christian speaks sternly, warning Evan to heed his advice carefully. Evan nods, understanding Christian's serious tone. Christian's determination is clear, but Evan's concern grows. To be honest, coming here is more important than… There's one more reason. They're blatantly bad-mouthing Account Son. We're in the Magic Empire, where strength is more. Christian looks at Evan with a calculating gaze, holding up the key. He pauses, considering his next move. Christian's tone is icy as he questions Evan, probing for weaknesses. Evan's response suggests a history of struggle and self-doubt. Christian's tone is cold and calculating as he speaks, probing Evan for any weakness or vulnerability. Christian's eyes narrow, his tone unwavering. Trouble again. He pauses, considering Evan silently. Fancier's tone is hopeful yet cautious. This might be a good opportunity. Your final cave. Do you not want to throw away the life you saved so narrowly? Turn's voice betrays a mix of shock and disbelief. The father's decision lingers, unresolved. Christian hesitates, then speaks with a tone of respect, but his last word trails off uncertainly. Melon greets with formality, hinting at a challenge to come. Christian's response is measured, his tone resolute yet cautious. Christian asserts his worth, challenging the deputy's doubts. Melon remains formal, sensing a confrontation brewing. Christian challenges Evan to a fight, testing his worth with a smirk. Christian smirks, challenging Evan to an unarmed duel. Evan protests, citing his debauched lifestyle and limited capacity for dark energy. Christian's smirk widens as he challenges Evan to pick his opponent for an unarmed duel. Evan hesitates, then firmly declares his choice. Christian smirks, clearly unconcerned. Christian smirks, clearly not impressed by Evan's choice. Christian's smirk deepens, challenging Evan with a sharp retort. Christian's eyes glint with anticipation as Evan accepts the challenge, though his tone remains mocking. Christian's eyes gleam with a mix of amusement and determination as he taunts Evan, daring him to accept. Evan clenches his fists, visibly struggling with the challenge, but reluctantly nods in agreement. Christian taunts Evan, daring him to accept the challenge. Evan clenums his fists, reluctantly nodding in agreement. Christian taunts Evan, daring him to accept. Evan clenches his fists, a reluctant nod following. Christian taunts Evan, but he's not buying it. Begun. Cheating. Shut up, Christian continues, daring Evan to accept the challenge. Christian challenges Evan to a barehanded duel, emphasizing his past battles and current weakness. Christian taunts Evan, pointing out his current weakness and past battles. Evan's response hints at a challenge or admission of inferiority. Christian taunts Evan, his tone dripping with mockery. Evan's response is laced with disbelief and a hint of defiance. Evan's reply is measured but firm, challenging Christian directly. Christian's eyes gleam with a dark determination, his voice cold and challenging. Christian's eyes widen in surprise, his expression a mix of shock and confusion as he processes Evan's unexpected response. Fighting instinct is all about readiness, not just physical prowess. Did young Master Turn get hurt? Right? Down here, could it be because he withdrew his guard? Worried that otherwise, the dark energy wouldn't make sense. Young Master Turn seems shaken, his words hesitant yet determined. His doubts linger, but he presses on, seeking validation. Swordsmanship is but a means to an end. The young master's resolve is unyielding, though his path remains uncertain. Christian continues his training, pushing himself harder than expected. He acknowledges the difficulty of handling dark magic while maintaining control over light magic simultaneously. Marie, the maid, approaches Christian, addressing him formally. She mentions that he has been called by his assigned name, indicating a structured environment. Marie suggests training Christian as a maid while preparing strawberry juice. She hints at using human ingredients, unsettlingly. Strawberry juice tastes incredibly sweet and fresh, far better than expected. Marie's instructions are clear but unsettling. Cox's pointed fingers and worried expression reveal his concern for Christian's well-being, despite the young master's evident displeasure. Young master scrutinizes Christian, his tone sharp with disapproval. He had hoped for better from this training session. Young master's gaze pierces through Christian, searching for hidden motives. Young master's stern expression betrays his growing impatience with the situation. Deputy Commander addresses Christian, his tone formal and authoritative. Back then? That duel about, again today, what was he plotting? Christian has shown up at the training grounds, but what does he intend to do now? Christian's precision astounds, leaving Evan in awe, yet there's more to his movements than meets the eye. Christian's precision in dispelling dark energy is unmatched, leaving no room for error, yet there's more to his control than Evan can fathom. Deputy Commander's surprise is evident, but he quickly regains his composure. The young master seems to have caused a commotion, yet no major conflict has erupted. Deputy Commander hesitates, clearly torn between disbelief and concern. The young master's reputation precedes him, but this behavior is uncharacteristic. Torin's reputation as a cowardly knight is called into question. The Deputy Commander struggles to believe what he sees, torn between disbelief and concern. Come at me then, the young master challenges, luring them into his trap with promises of secret techniques. That grip, he thinks, studying the angle and fluidity of his swordsmanship. This could work, if he does it just right. Evan's regret grows as he realizes his past self struggles were in vain. He stares in disbelief, the realization sinking in. His adversary's strength baffles him. Christian Van Baron Kazar smirks, his eyes gleaming with malice. Evan's expression is a mix of disbelief and growing concern. Commander's pride is on the line, yet he hints at doubts. Young Master remains unfazed, intrigued by this show of skills. Evan's frustration builds, unspoken but heavy in the air. Evan's voice drips with sarcasm, each word a piercing needle. Evan's tone is laced with bitterness, each word a challenge to his opponent. Evan's cold words slice through the air, tense and unyielding. Evan's tone is sharp, his voice dripping with disdain. The young master chuckles, seemingly unfazed by Evan's accusation. Dark magic hums in the air, a foreboding presence. Eye Star? To break half of that. Both of your legs with just one hand. Fine, today. So I'll walk away from here, Deputy Commander. The Deputy Commander's threat looms, but he hesitates as Evan walks past. Isn't it? He's held a greatsword, yet he hesitates. Commander, because the main weapon is a greatsword and he's up against the Deputy Commander's attacks considering his position. He shouldn't be an easy match for me. Looks like he's not impressed. Then too, your way won't work, things aren't going your way. Things aren't going his way, and he knows it. Now, Christian activates the key, the tension building as his intent becomes clear. Evan's determination falters, a moment of hesitation visible in his eyes. Melon's headbutting attempt seems ineffective, her focus slipping as she speaks. Christian chuckles darkly, his plan unfolding. Christian Van Baron-Kazar's laughter echoes darkly, building tension as he anticipates Melon's failed attempt. Melon's headbutt misses, her nails glinting in the dim light as she prepares another attack. Christian laughs, his amusement clear and ominous. Christian leans forward, his eyes narrowing at Evan. A rematch? More time? Christian speaks, his tone firm. The condition to meet, right? Christian asserts. The condition to meet, right? His tone leaves no room for misunderstanding. Christian Van Baron-Kazar proposes, a duel in a month. Well then, in a month, we'll see each other again in this world. Few things are truly impossible if you put your mind to it. Should truly lie with, he muses, the fate of this world. Melon, a genius young master, insists on Evan's training, emphasizing the fundamentals are crucial. You? Even me, with my rare fight for foundations, he easily defeated me, his low star rank opponent. Christian Van Baron-Kazar hands Evan a key, his tone indifferent yet commanding. Christian hands Evan a key, a smug grin on his face as he praises him. Christian Van Baron-Kazar boasts about his plans, confident and smug. Christian contemplates his past, hinting at a complex relationship with his father and an uncertain future. Christian looks pensive, his expression a mix of resolve and uncertainty. Christian's eyes narrow, his tone serious as he lists forbidden topics. Why are you here, young master? Christian's eyes narrow, his tone serious as he lists forbidden topics. Christian Van Baron-Kazar chuckles darkly, his tone mocking and cold. Evan remains silent, his expression guarded. Evan remains silent, his expression grim as he listens to Christian's words. Christian Van Baron-Kazar chuckles darkly, his gaze sharp as he continues to speak. Evan listens silently, the weight of words hanging between them. Evan's silence speaks volumes, the weight of Christian's words pressing down on him. Christian's determination hardens, his resolve unshakable as he prepares for what lies ahead. Christian continues his tirade, spitting out his disdain for the young master's social position and perceived lack of worth. The punishment cave remains unused despite its availability, as he circles around, plotting his next move with a mixture of frustration and determination. He curses, frustrated by his own indecision. The dreamstone in hand, he ponders his next move, weighing his options carefully. He sighs, clearly frustrated. What's the fun in this? He mutters, clearly unimpressed. Christian Van Baron-Kazar smirks, holding up a key. Evan looks taken aback. Hey, don't begin with my food. Christian grins wider. Evan looks taken aback as Christian smirks, holding up a key. Hey, don't begin with my food. Christian's grin widens, clearly mocking Evan's predicament. Christian smirks, holding up a key. Now, it was water, he chuckles. Why won't you drink wine? Christian grins, holding the key aloft. Again, wine bastard. He chuckles darkly. Christian grins, holding a spellbook open to a complex page. I've been working hard at mastering spells, he boasts. Just been at a lower star level, but I'm catching up. Christian chuckles, addressing Evan directly. Are you really a genius? He asks mockingly. Christian smirks, challenging Evan. Are you really a genius? He taunts, clearly expecting a retort from Evan, but getting none. Christian leans in, his smirk widening. Are you really a genius? He taunts, challenging Evan to respond. Christian leans closer, his tone dripping with sarcasm. Is this really a genius? He taunts. Christian's voice carries a hint of amusement as he says, Is this really a genius? The butler stammers, clearly uncomfortable. Master, you here, young Master Cox? What brings you to me today? Master Cox is clearly taken aback, his expression shifting with a mix of surprise and perhaps concern. Master Cox hesitates, his brow furrowing in disbelief. No, me, not at all. Young Master hesitates, clearly uncomfortable with the suggestion. He looks down, muttering something under his breath. Young Master fidgets, clearly uneasy about the request, but hesitates to refuse outright. Young Master's tone suggests a mixture of annoyance and reluctance, hinting at an ongoing disagreement. Young Master's outburst shows his frustration, though he tries to ease it with a weak laugh. Christian remains calm, acknowledging Young Master's gratitude with a nonchalant shrug. Young Master hesitates, clearly struggling to find the right words. Christian remains unfazed, waiting patiently for the message he's been told to deliver. Young Master hesitates, clearly unsure how to proceed. Christian waits patiently, an unspoken message hanging between them. Christian exclaims, clearly agitated. Evan's surprise and concern are palpable. Christian pours a drink, mockingly handing it to Evan. Evan looks taken aback, unsure of Christian's intentions. Christian's grin widens, clearly amused by Evan's confusion. Evan's eyes narrow, sensing a trap, but unsure how to react. Christian leans in, his smile hinting at a secret. You know, how to use dark magic? Christian's smile widens, his eyes gleaming with malice. Now is not the time to be surprised. Evan stumbles, clearly taken off guard. Christian's grin grows wider as he presses his advantage. Christian smirks, pressing his advantage. Evan's expression shows a mix of shock and dread. Christian's orders are clear, leaving no room for mercy. The young master pleads desperately, his voice trembling with fear and hope. Cox's orders are unclear, leaving the young master uncertain and terrified. His pleas grow more desperate with each word. Young master pleads desperately, his voice breaking with each word. Christian remains unyielding, listening intently. Young master pleads, but Christian remains firm. He instructs the captive to listen carefully and heed his words. The young master's plea falls on deaf ears as Christian remains unmoved, his resolve unshaken. Murder has been committed, and it seems the young master was the victim. Christian remains unshaken, his resolve unwavering. Christian's voice remains firm, unyielding to any doubt. The young master's actions seem beyond forgiveness. Christian Van Baron Kazar invokes his immediate trial with unwavering resolve, leaving no room for doubt. Christian's voice carries a tone of disdain. Evan watches, unsure of his role in this unfolding confrontation. Christian's tone is laced with skepticism as he addresses his servant, hinting at a disagreement about Evan's identity. Christian hands him a vial, his tone dripping with skepticism. "Drink this, rather, my rent." Christian leans in, his voice low and threatening. "This is the climax. What's going on here?" "My lord, this is slander. You'd react because Butler Cox crossed the line by spouting nonsense. Young master, this joke has gone too far." Butler Cox requests to question Lord Counsel as a proxy for the victim, seeking authority to proceed. Butler Cox addresses Lord Counsel, requesting authority to directly question the defendant. The scene builds tension as both parties await his next move. Emperor Count Kazar swears to tell the truth, his voice steady but tense. Butler Cox waits expectantly, the tension palpable. Emperor Count Kazar swears, his voice firm yet strained. Butler Cox waits, tension thick in the air. Christian Van Baron Kazar's voice carries a hint of triumph. Evan's disbelief is palpable, his mind racing. The binding seal's complexity surprises even Christian. Christian's voice is tense and commanding. Evan's expression betrays his shock and confusion. He hesitates, unsure of what to say next. Evan remains silent, visibly troubled by Christian's accusations. Christian presses on, his voice growing more intense with each word. Evan hesitates, clearly uncomfortable. Christian's voice grows menacing. Christian's voice tightens, his tone a mix of urgency and threat. Evan struggles to find the right words, his eyes darting nervously. Evan's expression shifts, reflecting growing desperation as Christian stands resolute. Sinner, by the borrowed authority, punished the count. The young master recounts a grim history, his voice strained and heavy with regret. Young master's voice trembles with urgency as he questions Christian's intentions, his expression grave and intense. Young master's voice quivers, his eyes narrowing as he demands to know Christian's true intentions. Young master's voice tingles with menace as he demands Christian follow him, hinting at something sinister to come. Young master's tone is sharp and commanding, leaving no room for disagreement. Christian's gaze shifts nervously as he follows his lead, the training ground silent under their weighty words. Christian's voice carries an air of finality, leaving no doubt about his intentions. The young master speaks with unyielding conviction, her words sharp and clear. Christian's voice rings firm, her tone leaving no room for argument. The young master retorts, her words sharp and unyielding. "You've lagged quite far behind, but with help." Father's expectations weigh heavily on Evan as he contemplates his future. Evan's future training seems grueling, with personal instruction from a senior master. Christian continues his instruction, his tone stern and unyielding. Evan looks on, clearly struggling with the black scythe technique. Christian's voice is firm, leaving no room for argument. Evan looks torn, understanding the severity of the situation. Christian's tone is resolute, leaving no doubt about his intentions. Evan's expression shows a mix of determination and concern. Christian's resolve is unshaken, his tone leaving no room for doubt. Evan's expression shows a mix of determination and concern as he contemplates the difficult techniques Christian is demonstrating. Christian's resolve remains unshaken, even as he acknowledges the minor inconvenience. Evan considers the difficult techniques, showing a mix of determination and concern. Christian's voice is firm, but Evan senses a hint of desperation in his eagerness to begin. Young master speaks with determination, though hints of uncertainty linger in his words. Christian's response is firm but edged with urgency. Young master laughs confidently, though his tone hints at unspoken doubt. Christian's response remains firm and urgent. Young master chuckles, his confidence unwavering despite internal doubt. Christian remains resolute and urgent in his response. Young master chuckles, his confidence unshaken. Christian remains resolute and urgent in his response. Young master chuckles, clearly entertained by something Christian isn't. Christian remains serious, his urgency unwavering despite the mockery. Christian's tone is laced with disdain as he rebukes young master, showing no mercy in his response. Christian's tone is harsh, leaving young master visibly flustered. Young master follows Christian hesitantly, clearly uncomfortable. Christian's mockingly cheerful tone continues to unsettle him. Young master hesitates, clearly uncomfortable with Christian's tone and behavior. Christian's mocking smile widens, drawing no closer. Young Master's voice trembles slightly, his discomfort evident. Christian's mocking tone continues, drawing no closer but clearly setting an edge to the conversation. Christian's voice drips with sarcasm. The young Master stammers, clearly uncomfortable. Christian Van Baron Kazar's tone is sharp, challenging the young Master's assumptions. The young Master fidgets, clearly uneasy. Turn's tone sharpens, his challenge palpable. The young Master stammers, clearly on edge. Turn's laugh echoes, sweet yet menacing. The young Master stammers, clearly intimidated. Turn's laughter continues, growing more intense with each passing moment. The young Master stammers nervously, clearly at a loss for words. Marie steps forward, her voice firm but controlled. Turn chuckles darkly in response. The young Master's orders clearly not enough to sway him. Young Master's orders ring out, but Turn shows no sign of compliance. Christian chuckles darkly, clearly unimpressed. No? Yeah, an hour maybe? Lose suckers, really? Their own money on the line. Oi, would walk into the lion's den for a bet like this. Heave will not back down, ready to call Evan's honor into question. Evan's regret lingers, his future uncertain despite Christian's confident smirk. Haha, victory today. When you're confident, they let you win a bit. Overconfidence makes you an easy mark. Heave knows he was tricked, yet still regrets going along. The conman's clever scheme worked perfectly. Heave shakes his head, disbelief clear in his tone as he argues with the conman about money lost. Christian smiles, his eyes gleaming with mischief as he challenges Evan to continue playing. Bingo indeed. Christian smirks, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. Oh, I lost my IO1000? Good work. Marie opens the door as instructed, revealing a tense atmosphere inside. Young Master frantically looks around, his eyes wide with panic and realization. Master, now, right? Are you? Grundle Merchant Guild's visit in private confounds young Master. He stammers, clearly caught off guard. Young Master stammers, clearly caught off guard by the unexpected visitor's accusations. His denial rings hollow as he struggles to maintain composure. Young Master stammers, clearly uncomfortable. No way, you con me of the casino? His voice wavers, betraying his shock and desperation. Young Master falters, clearly at a loss. These aren't empty words, he asserts firmly, offering hope but hinting at the enormity of his promise. Young Master hesitates, clearly torn between hope and trepidation. Will that be sufficient? He asks, his voice barely above a whisper. Young Master's hesitation is palpable as he questions the adequacy of the offered compensation, his voice trembling slightly. Young Master considers the rusted sword, his voice trembling as he questions its worth. Christian's plan seems to rely on more than just money. Christian hands Evan a rusted sword, his tone steady yet cold. Evan's expression is a mix of disbelief and confusion. Christian thanks Evan, his tone formal and unyielding. Evan seems at a loss, processing the situation. Evan looks conflicted, unsure if he should insist or accept the situation. Christian looks amused, a hint of malice in his eyes as he regards Evan. Evan hesitates, then reaches into his pocket. Something familiar catches his eye, but he quickly looks away. Brother! Evan's eyes widen, recognizing a familiar face. Evan stammers, clearly surprised by a revelation. He seems to struggle with his response, unsure of how to react. Evan falters, clearly uncomfortable with Christian's formal address. He seems to struggle to maintain his composure. Christian's formal address puzzles Evan, who seems uncertain how to respond. Christian's tone hardens, his eyes narrowing as he prepares to make a declaration. Just wait. Real Christian, you're about to face consequences. But to get Melon on his side, he needs more than just words. Christian clenches his fist, determination hardening his expression. Christian grips the holy sword tightly, his expression resolute. The blade's presence hums with untapped power. Christian examines the holy sword, testing its reaction to his dark energy. Christian continues to test the holy sword, feeling its resistance against his dark energy. The mechanism within the sword seems designed to reject any but pure light. Christian tightens his grip on the holy sword, the tension palpable. Christian leans forward, his tone taunting. Does it hurty? All night hitting you, just submit. Christian leans in closer, his tone mocking. Are your preparations done? Christian straightens, his tone dripping with sarcasm. I greet, I think, nephew. She explains her role within the clan, detailing her duties in protection and surveillance. The significance of her position is clear. Christian Van Baron Kazar seems unbothered, his gaze steady as he speaks. The young master's words about trivial matters and cheeky acts hint at underlying tension. Christian Van Baron Kazar's expression remains calm as he listens, his eyes slightly narrowed. The young master seems taken aback by his interest, unsure of how to proceed. Melon looks uncertain, perhaps wondering if challenging Christian to a duel is wise. Christian's calm demeanor suggests he's not intimidated, leaving Melon to ponder his next move. Melon hesitates, clearly torn between challenging Christian and respecting his plans. Christian remains unperturbed, his gaze steady. Christian's plan unfolds, leaving Melon to consider his options. Melon contemplates, the threat in Christian's plan clear but unspoken. Ashes fly, a warning left unsaid. He demands to see a replica, suspicion evident in his tone. Keuk. The sound rings sharp and clear, a challenge or warning hanging in the air. Do you have any idea what you're doing? He laughs confidently, clearly pleased with himself. His success is evident in every word. He chuckles, finding joy in his success. Why it matters so much is beyond amusing. Anyway, today will be your last day in this world. Your time is running out. Bastard, he despises himself, seeing his failure clearly. As he continues to reflect, the young master acknowledges his power has grown, yet the gap remains unbridged. He won't be able to close this gap entirely. The sword's power surges, a clash of forces unseen. That child has surpassed Yol in power and speed. Kugh, his body convulses, struggling against an unseen force. His body fluctuates, dark energy responding to holy power. It seems he's struggling to balance them. He questions her movements, trying to read her intentions but finding them elusive. His voice hints at growing tension and uncertainty. He contemplates her sword swings, trying to decode her technique but finding it unpredictable. His voice hints at growing concern and doubt. Then, what is this move about? It's confusing and unpredictable. Phew, hopefully, those forgotten spell swords haven't caused any trouble. The swamp knights might have issues if they did. Christian's voice carries a hint of urgency as he speaks, revealing the artifact's significance. Christian's voice grows more urgent, hinting at a looming threat. Christian's voice grows urgent, his expression intense as he waits for Evan to react. Christian's voice rings clear and confident, the key glowing brightly in his hand. Please come out already. You're still hiding behind me, aren't you? The accusation hangs in the air, unspoken yet heavy. The accusation continues to hang between them, unspoken but heavy. He hums thoughtfully, then chuckles softly. Tell you what, look at this, I wondered why he threw that. He seems on edge, his eyes darting around Yanya. Oh my, this is next? Well, you too, fun. He deflects my attack? Christian's smirk suggests this is far from over. Christian's smirk hints at hidden depths, suggesting this victory is mere moments away. PFFT? Ha ha ha. Are you genuinely asking that? I'm not afraid to die, so why should I respect your victory? Refusal is a double-edged sword, even in victory's shadow. As much as you want, Christian responds with a smirk, clearly unfazed by Evan's presence. It's not a fight, dragon. But who knows? Maybe it's the clan head. The young master contemplates, his expression shifting with uncertainty. The young master questions his abilities, seeking validation and reassurance. His doubt lingers as he ponders his control over dark energy. Maybe, fulfilled, his father's long-wished-for desire perhaps? The young master ponders his abilities, seeking validation and reassurance amidst lingering doubt. The young master's hands tremble as he reaches for a cake, his focus shifting from dark energy to something sweeter. Oh ho ho, despite his appearance, he possesses top-notch skills. Strawberries, of all things, catch his attention. You're here to give cookies? Chwick? Cookies? Making them for someone? For them to make some in the kitchen, Chwick, young master, what a woman. For a woman to bake cookies, geez. It's not what I expected. What matters is that they're made with my own hands. Hear me out, Chwick. Juice? Hey, are those strawberries? What used to be cookies are now, something else entirely. Oh hoo hoo, it seems something amusing is about to unfold. Lady Marian looks puzzled as Christian asks about something important, her expression a mix of confusion and urgency. Christian prepares to leave, offering a gift and a parting speech that seems to carry more weight than it lets on. Christian clears his throat and looks at Evan, who appears taken aback by the gesture. Lady Marian appears pleased, offering Christian a cookie with a warm smile. Christian accepts, his expression thoughtful as he considers her gesture. Lady Marian's smile remains warm, but Christian's response hints at a guarded acceptance. Lady Marian's smile fades slightly, her voice steady as she waits for Christian's response. Lady Marian's gaze remains firm, her tone unwavering as she awaits Christian's reply. Lady Marian's expression hardens, her voice steady as she challenges Christian's intentions. Evan firmly states his refusal, though his tone suggests hesitation. Christian's smile widens ever so slightly. Christian's smile fades slightly, his tone growing more insistent. Evan maintains a firm but reluctant expression. Christian's tone hardens, pressing Evan for an answer. Christian's tone shifts, becoming more assertive as he presses Evan for a response. Christian's determination hardens, leaving Evan with a sense of impending challenge. Christian's gaze remains intense, his determination unshaken. Evan feels a chill at the gravity of the situation. Christian's tone is firm, leaving no room for doubt. Evan feels a heavy weight in the air, the tension palpable. Christian's tone is firm, leaving no room for doubt. Evan feels a heavy weight in the air, the tension palpable. Christian's voice is firm and commanding, leaving no room for argument. The young lady stands ready, her expression unreadable. Christian's tone remains firm, leaving no doubt about his resolve. The young lady nods, her expression steady. Christian looks at Evan with a determined gaze, his tone unwavering. Evan's fate hangs in the balance as Christian's resolve remains unshaken. Christian's voice carries a weight of history and power. The mention of powerful combatants hints at the impending conflict. Christian's voice carries a weight of history and power. There must be more to his past than meets the eye. Faster. Christian's voice demands urgency, his resolve unshaken. Must tell you something important, Christian says urgently. Christian's voice carries a note of surprise as he questioned Evan's growth, hinting at unspoken doubts and hidden potential. Evan's surprise lingers, questioning his rapid growth. Christian's doubt hints at hidden potential Evan is only beginning to grasp. Family called him urgently, yet Evan wonders why they need to speak alone. Turn's name is submitted, but Evan wonders about the approval for such a ritual. Evan's words carry a tone of reproach, targeting Turn and his behavior. Evan's voice carries a heady weight of disappointment and defiance. Christian Van Baron Kazar's tone is stern and unyielding. The mention of a sacred dark rite foretells an ominous event. Christian's voice carries a sense of finality as he speaks of the sacred dark rite. The mention of negative dimension and quasi-deathmatch builds an air of impending danger. Christian continues, his tone steady but filled with enchia. Yan nama, yan nama. Christian reassures Marion, his tone firm. You'll figure this out. I have faith in you. Christian's tone is resolute as he addresses Marion, but there's an undercurrent of tension in his voice. Christian's tone is firm, leaving no room for doubt. He acknowledges Marion's concerns but dismisses them with a subtle hint of disdain. Christian's tone conveys a mixture of resolve and disdain for Marion's concerns. He believes he can prove his worth even as a trickster. Christian Van Baron Kazar will participate in a black pill hunt, proving his worth as a trickster. Christian, with a smirk, addresses the clan head directly, clearly unsatisfied with the order. Christian contemplates Evan, his gaze sharp and critical, seeking to find a prodigy or genius where he sees only a brat who once thought himself above him. Christian contemplates Evan, his expression a mix of curiosity and skepticism. He wonders if this younger version could fulfill his long-desired vision. Christian's gaze sharpens, his expression betraying a mix of doubt and renewed interest in Evan. Christian contemplates Evan's potential, his tone laced with skepticism and underlying curiosity. He wonders aloud if Evan can truly fulfill the clan's desires, keeping a close eye on him within the upcoming dark rite. Christian contemplates Evan's potential, his tone skeptical yet probing. He wonders aloud if Evan can truly awaken to the darkness, considering him a fierce beast with untapped potential. Christian ponders Evan's worth, his tone both critical and intrigued. Christian's voice carries a hint of amusement as he addresses Evan, his tone both mocking and curious. Christian's tone is sharp and mocking, challenging Evan with his words. Young master seems wary but obeys, his voice a mere whisper of submission. Christian's tone is sharp, challenging Evan to question his actions. Young master hesitates, whispering a reluctant agreement. I hope that child makes it through safely. Christian reflects on his past struggles and achievements, acknowledging that he is far from where he wants to be. He muses that despite all efforts, he still needs a black pill to sustain his power. Christian contemplates his past struggles and the need for a black pill, hinting at a twist in their current situation. He wonders aloud if catching the demon beast was just luck or part of something larger. Young master hesitates, clearly caught off guard by Christian's unexpected appearance. Christian's tone suggests a mixture of sarcasm and hidden intent. Christian's tone drips with sarcasm, challenging young master's judgment. Young master stumbles for a response, clearly uncomfortable. Christian's tone sharpens, leading young master floundering for a reply. Young master nods quickly, trying to keep up. Marie's voice teeters on laughter as she asks if Evan is ready. The tension builds, waiting for his response. Evan hesitates, then nods. Christian watches with a calculating gaze. Christian Van Baron Kazar glances at Evan, a calculating expression on his face. Christian Van Baron Kazar's gaze remains intense, his expression unreadable. Evan stands nearby, looking uncertain. Christian examines Evan with a scrutinizing gaze, his expression unreadable. Coachman stands nearby, uncertain about the situation. Young master seems uncertain, his words trailing off as he looks at Evan. The coachman remains attentive but wary. Evan's presence seems to unsettle the young master, who shifts uncomfortably in his seat. Evan's sudden presence creates an uneasy silence, disrupting the young master's composure. I said, oh ho ho, it isn't for me, is it? Already? Could it be someone else? Could it be considering for the count? Father's age, I need to make sure to take care. Yes, careful. A secret. I'll be very you. For the count's honor must keep this you absolutely. Brother? His title, suddenly relevant in a different context. That's all about you, brother. Oh, are you getting hurt, King Emperor Majesty, now worrying for your honor? Must keep this secret absolutely. Christian Van Baron Kazar's tone sharpens, his gaze intense as he addresses Evan. That squabbling between House Tiraman and the bastards from before, now that's refreshing. But House Count Tiraman is not allowed to favor anyone. Young Master Alois stands firm, defying House Count Tiraman's orders with contempt. His voice carries a challenge, leaving no room for misunderstanding. By those words, the case, that is. Tiedeman's reaction is clear but uncertain. He seems both surprised and wary of Count Tiedeman's response. Tiedemann hesitates, clearly unsure about Count Tiedemann's next move. Young Master hesitates, his expression a mix of confusion and curiosity as he asks about the cost. 100k rupees. It's not just that, though. Everyone, let's organize our belongings quickly. Something caught the young master's attention, causing him to exclaim with delight. He seems genuinely excited about whatever it is. Lady exclaims in delight, hiding her shy smile behind a fan. The young master coos over her expression, finding it adorable. Alois calls out, surprised to see Bill and Count Tiramino. His tone suggests unease and confusion about their presence. Alois seems taken aback, his voice laced with skepticism as he questions Bill and Count Tiramino's motives. You manners indeed. Your expression betrays more than you'd like to show. Do you really want to die? Your resolve is clear, even if it shocks me. Secretly paralyzing the demon beast's reasoning and causing delusions. Christian discusses dark magic techniques, blending fear and excitement to paralyze a demon's reasoning and cause delusions. Christian then Baron Khazar chuckles darkly, considering his next move. He toys with the idea of brutally defeating someone, perhaps as a warning. Might as well start with that scary kitty Marie first. Chris spits out a string of curses, clearly agitated. He demands to know what Christian Van Baron Khazar intends to do next. Christian's gaze hardens, his plans unfolding with deadly precision. Christian clenches his fist, his resolve hardening further. Christian clenches his jaw, his tone dripping with sarcasm. The situation is clearly unfavorable, yet he presses on, determined to maintain the upper hand. She vows to humiliate him, her tone filled with malice and determination. His confidence wavers, a sign that the battle is far from over. He stumbles, clearly in pain. His opponent mocks him, taunting his fall. Oh wait, no, got it? Mouth? Because shut your mouth before you start crying. Does it hurt? But you can't because you cry. Easy on you, just stop. The accusation lingers, unspoken but heavy in the air. The accusation hangs, Christian's tone dripping with disdain. Christian spits out insults, his tone cruel and mocking. Christian spits out more insults, his tone dripping with malice and disdain. Who do you think you are, insulting me like this? The tension between them grows, each word a knife slicing through the air. He scoffs, emphasizing each word with a heavy tone. The accusation lingers, hanging between them like a threat. Go, drop, can do this. There's plenty of time left. I should rest when I can. Hey, are you certain, your young master? Right now, tension hangs in the air as Marie challenges Evan's claim. He hesitates, knowing his argument is weak. He's desperate for something to quench his thirst, ignoring Marie's warning. Alois seems unimpressed, his cold expression unchanged despite the other's efforts to include him. Christian's tone is firm, leaving no room for argument. Alois remains unbothered, clearly used to such demands. Go easy on the young master and share the deal. He sure is aloof, showing no interest in anything. It's pointless to keep watching. Better to finish your report quickly and get some rest. It's grown late, and he must prepare to move. The pests remain a nuisance, though they'll have to wait. Marie needs to hurry somewhere important. She insists Evan follow quickly. Christian is about to activate the key, his resolve firm despite the night. Evan watches, a mix of sadness and determination in his eyes. Hey, geez, rated P6. This comic is, don't you? You sure love running your mouth. Mountains stretch into the distance. The Khiton house looms ahead, its reputation as a place of darkness and danger well known. The energy is palpable as he approaches the secret hunting ground, known for its dense population of demon beasts. Only now does he realize how lax he's been. Marie had warned him about these guards. Good thing he mastered the invisibility spell. Young Master mocks Evan's attempt to interpret his actions, clearly amused by the situation. Evan's growing unease at Christian's intentions is palpable, though no words are spoken. Evan's unease grows as Christian speaks of the Black Pill altar, the sinister hunt drawing closer. Christian speaks of dying to control the situation, his words chilling and ominous. The Black Pill is both rebirth and death, a spectrum of intense fear and radiant joy condensed into one moment. Evan contemplates Christian's plan to steal the Black Pill from the Tyramans, seeing it as a dangerous move. Christian contemplates his next move, the Black Pill within reach, but time running short. Someone is calling out, but who and what response? The plan to steal the Black Pill technique is interrupted, leaving only confusion and tension. Tension builds as Christian Van Baron Khazar's intentions remain unclear. Evan feels a chill as he recognizes the dark magic's malice. He senses a powerful barrier, warning of danger ahead. Is this Gehenna? The world of Gehenna? The crevice linking it with Karajoth. Evan's voice trembles with realization and dread. What if right here I lured the demons to think there was a crevice linking Gehenna with the human world? Good. He can't wait for something to happen, planning to lure the demons with malice and intensity. He didn't expect such a clever trick from the little bastard. This prank on his observers makes things even more terrible. Tension builds as thoughts whirl, but no sound escapes his lips. What is your wish, Death? Tension builds as Christian contemplates his next move, Death. Christian tightens his grip on the key, the room's tension palpable. By me? Shut it. Whooped. Don't you got his ass? Think you're someone that can act cool for long? Christian activates the key, challenging Evan with mockery. Evan stands firm, determination evident in his stance. Sir Chris gives orders, his voice firm and resolute. Men and women prepare to follow, though some look uncertain. The tension in the air is palpable as they move towards the altar. Wish you had shown up earlier. About your bed, it's fine, but don't get too comfortable. Please go laze around elsewhere if you must. Come crying to me later for help only when you've shit the bed. Guard duty will not be taken lightly henceforth. You'll fall into my trap, devil. Just be prepared. I made sure to pack the dagger and ash pill just in case. Darndeed is dead, guys. Try your luck. It's coming. The 4 magic demon beast is on its way. Alois? Derpy? Cutie Pie Master? Luxo? Ready, young one? What the? Why does it matter now? Please begin the subjugation, young master. Art demands compliance. Peck sniff? The young master hesitates, his expression uncertain. Huh? Young master appears taken aback, his brow furrowing in confusion. Young master appears uneasy, his tone urgent as he calls out, Poison. Form a defensive formation. Work. Time, Cug. Ahead of it won't stop it. Some antidote we consumed that thing's because of the aphrodisiac out of control. On. But, can, best you, this drags. It'll still be everyone. Stop at the dangerous, i.e. Young master, Tiraman, the busy flag bearer, stands solemnly before Christian Van Baron Kazar, eyes wide with concern. Young Master Tiraman forces himself to step forward, his voice trembling as he addresses Christian Van Baron Kazar. Evan looks conflicted, his voice trailing off as he struggles to find the right words. He's shouldering Christian's heavy mood, pressing on despite the tension. Christian clenches his fists, determination in every word. Evan's expression is a mix of resolve and dread. Christian's fists tremble with unspoken fury, the tension in the air palpable. How do you expect to control something with arts like that? Who could have thought such a simple technique would be enough? You're such a country bumpkin, thinking you can manipulate everything. It's not a secret, everyone knew about this basic trick. Tension crackles in the air, unresolved and heavy. He had nothing left, and the Academy knew it. Evan's despair grows, his future uncertain in this new body. Right? This is the first time you've seen Gehenna's malice up close. Go on, be terrified. His voice drips with malice, challenging Evan's resolve. Now. Christian Van Baron Kazar's voice booms, filling the cavern with an ominous tone. Hey, out here, this is serious. Don't be a wimp. Hurry up and come on. You okay? This is extremely dangerous. We need to get moving. Do we do this? It turned out to be a black pill, but what does that mean? Not an ash pill. It's an ash pill, not a black pill. Evan pleads, but Christian remains unyielding. The situation grows tense as Christian asserts his resolve. Christian hands Evan a black pill, insisting they must take it. Evan thanks him, feeling slightly relieved despite the grim situation. Christian's voice is firm, leaving no room for doubt. Evan's expression betrays a mix of relief and uncertainty. Evan stammers, clearly taken aback by Christian's unexpected demand. Evan's expression shifts, showing a mix of disbelief and fear as he stammers out his response. Evan stammers, his voice barely above a whisper as he pleads with the young master. The desperation in his tone is clear. The young master's warning hangs in the air, unspoken but heavy. Christian's plan has shifted, but time is running out. He must reach the demon before it's too late. Christian's eyes widen with determination. He clenches his fists, ready to face whatever comes next. Christian's lips curl into a sneer. He finds Evan's reaction amusing, but his plan remains unchanged. Christian Van Baron Kazar cackles, clearly mocking Evan's predicament. He teases that he isn't trying to sneak around like someone with many concerns. However, if I were to face destruction during the Age of Demons, he's not someone who would have to be feared. At least he is a 5-star demon. But compare him to the demons that annihilated entire cities. Evan's struggle is clear, but his companion remains unconvinced. Evan's efforts are in vain, as his companion remains unconvinced and dismissive. He doubts whether he can truly face a 10-star hero now. His words carry a hint of sarcasm, challenging anyone to disagree. Evan's idea is deemed commendable, yet he asserts his principle of non-association firmly. Christian dismisses Evan's idea as useless, emphasizing it's mere junk that can't be used. ARGH. His plan begins to unravel, leaving him frustrated and desperate. He musters his remaining strength to plead for their survival. He clenches his fist, the sword in his hand a mere token of what he cannot use now. He knows his accusation will have consequences, yet he cannot change what has been said. He clenches his fists, the weight of his words pressing heavily on him. He feels a sudden, intense threat, his heart racing as realization dawns. Tension builds as Christian's confident stance contrasts with Evan's growing unease. The tension in the air thickens, anticipation building for what Christian will do next. This moment stretches endlessly. Christian's grip tightens around the key, his fingers white with strain. Evan's determination wavers as he contemplates his exhausted state. Evan sighs, realizing he pushed his limits too far. Ironically, something you're sure signifies the single flash of light that divides the Dead Sea. Evan's technique, though imperfect, still divides something like the Dead Sea. Christian watches with a mix of curiosity and calculation. Chris's voice carries a sense of certainty, but Evan remains unsure. The light shifts, hinting at an impending change. Christian Van Baron Kazar finds Evan's reaction intriguing, waiting for him to process the situation. Evan calls for potions, signaling a desperate attempt to heal. In the future, he anticipates Christian's actions with unease. Christian's resolve hardens as he prepares to activate the key, knowing full well the consequences. He groans, his body weak and sore. Days of inactivity weigh heavy on him. Great indeed. The pill seems to have taken effect. Mefina, was it? He received unwanted something. But why should I care about bad guys? Occasionally receiving a demon's blessing. They're just fiends standing in the way of progress. Christian looks stern, his eyes focused on something beyond Tiraman. Tiraman asks about Evan's condition with concern. Christian continues his stern gaze, while Tiraman checks Evan's condition with concern. Investigation squad members listen intently as instructions are given. Christian's expression remains unyielding, while Tiraman's concern shows in his actions. The mention of reverse summoning leaves everyone on edge, sensing the gravity of the situation. Christian's voice is firm, leaving no room for argument. Tiraman listens intently, his expression a mix of concern and determination. The mention of extinguishing something suggests a recent attempt at summoning has failed. Christian speaks sternly, leaving no doubt about his intentions. Tiraman listens intently, a mix of concern and determination on his face. Christian stands firm, his tone unwavering. Tiraman listens, a mix of resolve and caution in his eyes. Christian considers, his expression thoughtful. Tiraman remains silent, clearly weighing his options. Together, we could achieve great things, but bloodline kin often clash, even when they shouldn't. Count Kazar contemplates the complex dynamics of their clan relations, weighing the schemes and threats from other houses. He senses a looming conflict that could destabilize the balance of power. Count Kazar considers Evan's words, his expression serious and thoughtful. He believes in standing firm against manipulations, regardless of the source. Count Kazar's expression hardens, his gaze intense as he ponders Evan's suggestion. Count Kazar clears his throat, his tone serious as he challenges Evan's proposal. Christian's tone darkens, his words dripping with a promise of power. Evan stands taken aback, the weight of Christian's intent pressing down on him. Christian's laughter echoes, the rare summoning stone glinting in his hand. Evan remains silent, his expression a mix of confusion and growing dread. Christian smiles, his eyes glinting with a calculated intent. Evan stands silently, a mix of emotions swirling in his gaze. Christian leans forward, a knowing smile on his face as he waits for a response from Evan. Christian's smile widens as he waits for Evan's reaction, the tension palpable between them. Christian's smile remains, hinting at a darker purpose as he stands before Evan. The scent of something old and dark lingers in the air. Christian's voice carries a hint of satisfaction. Evan's mind races, piecing together his new identity, and, Christian's voice drips with contempt for the light mages. Bloodshadow and Dominion engage in indiscriminate slaughter. Christian's voice carries a cold, mocking tone as he speaks of past battles and fallen leaders. The regressed Evan listens in silence, his expression grim. Simon's voice drips with contempt as he speaks of carnage and demon flesh. Evan listens, his expression darkening. That? How did he manage to do it? I never thought a clone could be so powerful. Dead Sea Cleave even saw Kazar's house. This young master of the clan must be something extraordinary. No trace left after playing dumb, talking about it all gone to the cave. Even the demonkin's corpse was completely vaporized inside the cave. Evan contemplates the implications, his expression serious. Christian's challenge hangs in the air, unspoken yet palpable. Christian's tone is laced with a mixture of amusement and condescension. Evan's bewildered expression underscores his confusion. Christian's tone remains amused, hinting at a deeper understanding Evan lacks. Christian's amused tone continues, hinting at a hidden truth Evan hasn't grasped yet. Christian's gaze remains steady, his tone casual yet insistent. Evan stands quietly, a mix of confusion and unease evident in his expression. Christian's tone remains calm, but his eyes hold a serious intent. Evan considers the request, his expression thoughtful yet guarded. Christian nods, his tone unwavering. Evan contemplates his next move, his expression serious. Christian's voice is firm, leaving no room for doubt. Evan senses the gravity of what's to come. Christian finishes his preparations, eyes focused intently on the task at hand. Good, Alois. Work begins soon. Christian looks at Evan, expectantly waiting for a response. Christian looks at Evan, his tone serious. Evan remains silent, weighing his next words carefully. Christian speaks seriously, looking directly at Evan. Evan remains silent, clearly thinking deeply about something. Christian's tone is serious, leaving Evan in silence as he contemplates his situation. Christian hands something to Evan, his tone serious and direct. Evan remains silent, processing what has been said. Christian's voice is firm, leaving no room for doubt. Evan feels the weight of Christian's warning, understanding the gravity. Christian's voice is firm and commanding. Marie, visibly uneasy, hesitates before responding. Christian's voice rings out firmly, leaving no room for doubt. Marie, visibly uneasy, hesitates before responding. Christian's voice is firm, leaving no room for doubt. Master hesitates, clearly uneasy. Christian's voice carries authority, leaving no doubt about his intentions. Master seems hesitant but respectfully nods. Christian's tone is firm, leaving no room for doubt. Master appears taken aback but nods respectfully. That won't do. Right, we can duel after you finish training. Yeah, push it back further. You should promise me you won't train as well, so you better keep that promise. He clenches his fist, clearly annoyed by the brat's stubbornness. HMM, the young master contemplates, his expression unreadable. Right, I have half a month until the ceremony begins, and my preparations must be flawless. Keg, it's so bitter. The taste lingers on his tongue, a stark reminder of his current predicament. Than I expected. It's more turbulent force I sense within. Black pills? The black pills? Fiends to absorb? Irrelevant, but that's… Wait, is that light? Force I sense with death becoming a part of. Pills are difficult for Karajohov. No wonder the elation that the Karajohov experienced upon. Wait, is that light? Force I sense with death becoming a part of… The young master's resolve hardens, a newfound determination shining through. All that's left is this light. Fiends would go rogue, a nice thing to go for the help of their… He channels the energy with determination, preparing for a decisive move. The Academy's knowledge of his weakness grows, building the tension. The tension grows as Christian's resolve hardens, ignoring Evan's futile attempts to intervene. Christian's resolve hardens, his gaze unyielding as he waits for Evan's inevitable failure to intervene. Christian leans forward, his expression unreadable as he awaits Evan's response. Good work, Evan. The incident during the Demonkin hunt. Questions, perhaps? My apologies for the delay in reporting. He survived it. Lady Idoline's leave request is met with a nod from Christian. Tension builds as he considers her words. Christian's gaze turns to Evan, the weight of his decision pressing heavily. Christian opens the door, stepping inside with a serious expression. Evan follows closely behind, his face showing a mix of determination and concern. Coming in the morning, first thing in, Evan looks confused and slightly anxious as he follows Christian's cryptic words. Christian's tone is taunting, challenging Evan to understand his situation fully. Evan remains uncertain, his expression a mix of confusion and growing tension. Christian's taunt pierces the air, challenging Evan to grasp his situation fully. Christian's challenge rings out, leaving Evan in a momentary silence. The young master raises his sword, eyes locked on Evan with unyielding resolve. Evan stands firm, matching the young master's resolve. Evan's determination matches the young master's, setting the stage for a tense confrontation. Christian looks concerned as he addresses Evan, who stands nearby. He hints at a pending ritual and Evan's need for rest. Turn steps forward, looking at Evan with a mix of uncertainty and resolve. He nods to Christian, who stands nearby with a determined expression. Dummies? The fight. Hey, what whiny baby like those alliance for? Don't be a pouting you're the one that asked for it. Big brother deliberately injured you. Now you mock and look down on me? Your achievements mean nothing if you can't participate in the dark rite. He sighs heavily, his expression grim. Rate and energy are required for his plans. He hopes Christian will understand. If you compete against me in the dark rite, you'll lose forever. You're best suited for gray pure dark energy, not because of how stubborn you are. Christian continues his explanation, his voice firm and unyielding. Evan listens intently, trying to grasp the complexity of dark energy. Evan struggles to understand Christian's complex explanation, his expression a mix of confusion and determination. Evan listens intently, trying to grasp Christian's intricate explanation about dark energy. Christian hands Evan a small, mysterious object and continues his explanation about dark energy. Christian hands Evan a small, mysterious object and asks, "Do you need this pill?" Evan hesitates, wondering why Christian would give him such an item. Evan hesitates, glancing at Christian with a mix of confusion and wariness. Evan's voice lingers in the air, his words hanging over Christian as he seeks understanding. Why had she acted so recklessly at her deathbed? I didn't, back then, understand why she acted so recklessly on her deathbed. Evan's determination to prove himself despite past failures grows more evident. Young Master struggles to form coherent sentences, clearly agitated and in pain. He hints at travel and transformation, hinting at a plan or destination yet to be revealed. Christian chuckles, his amusement evident as he toys with the key. He speaks in riddles, hinting at a date between their hearts but keeping the true meaning hidden. Christian chuckles, his gaze playful yet enigmatic. He gestures towards Evan with a smirk, their pact clearly still in effect. Butler's tone is lighthearted, hinting at a hidden tension beneath his words. Evan watches him warily, unsure of how to respond. Evan watches Butler closely, sensing his hidden agenda. Butler's smile masks a sharp edge to his tone. Evan looks taken aback, Butler's smirk hinting at his hidden intentions. Good, my lord. You've brought the young master as requested. A moment passes as Christian Van Baron-Kazar speaks, his voice steady and calm. A moment passes, and Christian's voice remains steady, confirming his identity without elaboration. The pressure is immense, barely tolerable. Christian's presence exudes dark energy that threatens to overwhelm. Greetings. My level can't, despite knowing Dark Magic Clan. Withstand I sovereign of the Duke Baron. Great that someone of... Why is he with me? This sudden meeting? Were you surprised by a new star's appearance? Oh-ho-ho, correct. And yet I can't quite hold back their compliments. Neither Marion nor Simon expected me to have such expectations of you. Great things lie ahead, no matter how small you start. Time will show your true potential. You are correct. I am still but a sapling, not yet ready to match your great tree. Only time will tell if you will surpass expectations. Fine. I shall grow into a great tree, casting shadow upon you or perhaps disappoint you with my abnormality. Have high hopes that even I will surpass expectations. He had shown potential, yet fell short. His fate was sealed by a greater talent. But will you rise to the occasion today, Evan? A small hope sprouted in the winds blowing towards the magic empire. Wish that child might indeed be able to fulfill my desires. Dark rites are about to be performed on this sacred eve. Christian Van Baron-Kazar declares his arrival, commanding attention and authority. Christian mulls over Jigo's appearance, wondering if he is as foolish as his reputation suggests. Oh ho ho, you are despicably handsome, young Master Booze, right? Are you? But some ginger alcohol have not underage instead of... Young ladies and lords gather round. The arrival of these, lame excuses for ginger ale. I don't want them here, yet they insist on spoiling my day. Christian's resolve hardens, his determination to control the situation unshaken. Second young Lord Eschedebaren steps forward, his presence commanding but tense. The room fills with young lords and ladies, each one a symbol of power and privilege in the magic empire. Christian's contempt is clear, his gaze piercing as he mocks Evan, calling him a victim of his own game. Christian's voice drips with disdain as he spits out Evan's name. Evan's face twists in a mix of anger and despair, his eyes narrowing. Julianne's voice cuts through the tension, a mix of concern and irritation clear in her tone. Christian's tone hardens, his gaze fixed on Evan with unwavering determination. Christian Van Baron-Kazar addresses Evan directly, his tone cold and unyielding. He introduces Fare as a summoner working for the young master. Christian's tone remains cold and unwavering. Evan feels a chill in the air, sensing the seriousness of the situation. Christian's tone is unyielding, leaving Evan with a sense of impending doom. Evan's mind races, unsure how to respond. Christian's tone leaves no room for argument, challenging Evan to prove himself. Christian's challenge hangs in the air, unspoken yet intense. Evan stands unequipped, facing the daunting task ahead. Christian's challenge looms, but Evan remains uncertain, his words tinged with resolve and foreboding. Fancy reads the novel, her expression a mix of seriousness and determination. Christian's resolve hardens, preparing for whatever comes next. So the spirits, what did I just see? By summoning evil, summoner started. Summoned spirits react instantly to the command, their presence shifting in response to his gesture. Christian's tone is urgent, his words cutting through the tension. Evan's expression shifts from confusion to realization, though he says nothing. Young Master's accusations ring out, cutting Evan short. The tension between them thickens. Young Master's voice cuts through the air, filled with accusation and scorn. Christian's tone remains cold and unwavering, refusing to back down. Christian's voice drips with contempt as he speaks, challenging Evan's position. Why did you even come here today, Evan? Aren't you at all nervous about what might happen? Christian's tone turns harsh, aimed directly at Evan. The tension between them grows palpable. Wait, you brat, just you and the main house? Has everyone assembled? Charge of the main household guards approaches. He will guide you to the sacred ground where the rite will take place. Is this some kind of illusory space? It materializes here, underground? Behind him, Christian Van Baron-Kazar starts to move, urgency in every step. Christian's movements grow more urgent, leaving no doubt of his intent. This place feels unusual, somehow different from before. So why didn't we go there before? This underground slope feels steep and unusual. Cribble AH. Please hurry up, the ground you forever won't support us much longer. What's this rush? Since we're late, I'll speed up our descent. Moments later, he can't even keep up. Losers. He's how? Not even pests don't sweat. Deserve to, those unworthy. These fools? Potions? Of breath, you're all bark and no bite. As a direct heir, you should know better than to waste good potions on such stupidity. Did they feed you nothing but nonsense? Suffer in illusory space. Twisting a spell, you can run earnestly, but it's a waste here. Oh ho, in this Plazia's. He must be invincible, Christian, young master. Pant, he's barely recovered, yet he's already breathing hard. Pant, why are you unharmed? You should have trained your body more, not relied on your beast. Christian stands, surrounded by a burst of dark energy. The air hums with tension. I am Rihu, the manager of the sacred ground. I welcome the young masters, and you are here today to obtain what? I welcome the young masters, and you are here today to obtain what? The great pure darkness, ranked Demon King. You are the progenitor of the dark magic clan. What will you do now? Christian's intention is clear, but the outcome remains uncertain. Or so you say. How will it be tested? Christian considers Evan's response, nodding slowly. Very astute, he remarks, his tone contemplative. Christian continues, his voice calm but deliberate. Focus on the conflict. Christian's voice carries a grave tone as he speaks, urging Evan to focus on his own safety. May fortune be with you. Christian's voice carries a hint of finality. So, Kolda, do you want to brush me off like that? Juice on who to bet some blood. The tension grows as Christian's resolve hardens, his determination unshaken. The tension between Christian and Evan intensifies, each waiting for the other to make a move. The tension hangs heavy, neither moves breaking the silence. Christian's hand hovers over the key, his resolve unshaken. Christian's determination hardens, leaving no doubt of his intent. Though I'm merely a 2-star, these creatures are nothing to me at best. Christian is having a rough time, though. According to the rules, each path is supposed to have the same distance, but Christian's might be longer. Demon beasts, by pure chance coming across some. Christian's path is supposed to have stronger demon beasts, yet he's on his way to the sacred door. The door looms ahead. Christian's voice cuts through the tension. So long? You're late. I knew I'd be waiting. You're late, Evan. There wasn't much boredom from all this waiting. That's not good, Evan. Monsters should have had much stronger allies. Christian's tone is sharp, challenging Evan directly. The situation is tense, with no room for misunderstanding. Christian's challenge rings out, filled with barely suppressed anger and determination. Christian's voice carries a dangerous edge as he speaks, his words sharp and unyielding. Christian's voice drips with sarcasm as he mocks Evan, waiting for his next move. He's determined to break you, showing no mercy. You're a dummy, clearly not learning from your mistakes. If it hurts, don't cry even Ty. He held back a tear, determined to remain strong. Evan's resolve begins to waver, though he fights to stay strong. Evan struggles to catch his breath, clearly exhausted and overwhelmed. He seems confused, looking from Evan to himself in puzzlement. His voice laced with disbelief asks if Evan fainted or if he needs to beat him until he wakes up. I haven't prepared anything. 5 years from now, the first great war will break out. You guys are cleaning up. It's time to take possession of the sacred darkness. It's time to absorb the sacred darkness, granting fiendish power. The Elder Clan head, one of the strongest, could potentially become a true transcendent among demon monarchs. Become a demon king. The Dark Destroyer also needs pure dark energy too. He can surpass even the demon emperor with pure dark energy. The situation grows more dire as Christian's plan unfolds, leaving no room for error. Christian's voice trembles slightly as he utters his next words, clearly caught off guard. The situation has taken a disastrous turn. Christian's voice wavers, betraying his unease. Young Master Lewine won't be able to enter the sacred ground for 2 days. Christian's voice trembles, revealing his fear and uncertainty. The sacred darkness has already absorbed him, leaving nothing behind. He knew this was inevitable, but still. Christian's voice quivers, despair clear in his trembling tone. There remains no trace of his body, not even a corpse. Christian's voice trembles, resolve hardening his stance. He won't allow Evan to return, vowing to end it here and now. Christian's voice shakes with barely contained fury. He won't let Evan return, his resolve hardening into a grim determination. Christian's voice trembles with anger. He demands Evan stay dead, his resolve unyielding. Christian's voice shakes with barely contained rage. He looks towards a ghostly figure, his eyes narrowing. The young master flutters like a butterfly caught in a storm, her heart racing. Christian's voice trembles with fury as he demands understanding from someone unseen. The young master fidgets, her heartbeat pounding in her ears. A man who returns quickly isn't cool. The young master's throat constricts, hinting at what lies ahead. No, my throat, it's constricting more than expected. That's the starting point. The real 90% mark begins here. If he overexerts, his core will die before the test can start. He must mimic the dragon's heart, but only for a few minutes. The pressure is immense. He knows his limit is near, but still reaches out for help. He stammers, his voice barely above a whisper. Christian stands firm, determination etched on his face. Is a demon in here? Is a demon's power possible here? This darkness poses a threat. Why bother with conditions when none are given? Fufu, Duel, take in all of the sacred light and darkness here. 1 week later, the situation remains tense and unresolved. Such conditions? Would he agree? Hard-pressed to believe it. Why would he? Sooner or later, he wishes to close the pathway leading to the sacred ground. Will you get him that chance? Testing this old man's resolve. The odds are close to 0, yet he remains alive, a reckless child indeed. As you, one day, command him to keep it open for just 1 more day. Christian's resolve hardens, determination burning in his eyes. Hurry, grab my key before it's too late. I refuse to leave you here, even if you command it. More than this, you should know well that humans are not permitted. Oh, seems concepts. Right now, really? Something. Like you're forgetting we're in a world of magic and logic doesn't always apply. Tension mounts as Christian's resolve hardens, preparing for the inevitable. Unbelievable indeed. The situation seems to be spiraling out of control. Demonization, a forbidden spell, an ultimate technique, mysticism at its darkest. Bastard demonization, an ultimate forbidden spell, mysticism pushed to its darkest limits. However, this spell is powerful. In the past, Lena died after casting it. It is as lethal to the user as it is explosive. Evan contemplates using the world's energy, wondering about potential penalties. He struggles to believe it worked, determination mixed with disbelief in his voice. The darkness around him intensifies, hinting at untapped potential. A black crescent forms around him, a darkening aura suggesting latent power ready to unleash. His body is mere mortal now, reduced to an insect's worth in this grand spell. He doubts his own genius, challenging Christian's confidence in him. Christian van Berenkazar gathers his resolve, preparing to leave. Christian crosses his arms, a smirk playing on his lips. He clearly isn't pleased with Evan's presence. Christian laughs maniacally, clearly enjoying Evan's presence and the ensuing chaos. Doubt lingers in his eyes as he questions her sanity, wondering why she returns again, bringing more chaos. Time seems to stretch, each second heavy with unspoken tension. Chaos brews as he wonders if this is some bizarre prank, the passage of days now mere minutes in his mind's eye. Young Viscount Christian has returned, shocking everyone. Lord Clingham struggles to comprehend the situation, his voice trembling with shock and disbelief. The acting head of the Dark Magic clan admits that his life hangs by a thread. Healer's voice conveys fatigue as he speaks, describing the young master's condition with clinical precision. The energy within him is pure and dark, but his body remains weak. Greed's voice laments the wasted potential, mocking the young master's failure to absorb sacred darkness. Christian stands firm, his tone leaving no room for argument. Greed emphasizes the need to hold the young master accountable. Macfield's questions probe for truth, his tone skeptical yet insistent. The healer, visibly strained, confirms with a grim nod. Momentum builds as Luan awaits the revelation, tension palpable in the air. Luan's voice trembles with urgency as he speaks, his words hanging in the air. In him, postponed. Jupiter has been, and for Father to show interest, our eradication of them alongside. Fish, the river. The flow of time is disrupting one singular moment. Christian orders the vassals to prepare for his disposal, hinting at a sinister plan. Christian's voice is firm, leaving no room for doubt. He intends something dangerous. Christian's tone is resolute, leaving no ambiguity about his intent. He questions Evan's awareness of the impending dark rite, emphasizing its gravity. Christian acknowledges Evan's awareness, but hints at his own superiority, emphasizing Evan's unworthiness in his clan. Evan's voice carries a mix of confusion and indignation. Evan's expression hardens, sensing the gravity of the situation. Emmy Asherty, your techniques and how will my results be? Will be denied the ability to fully enter the Dark Magic clan's grounds. Christian's tone is laced with a hint of mockery as he speaks, clearly not satisfied with Evan's current predicament. Christian's voice drips with sarcasm, challenging Evan to understand his situation fully. Christian's challenge is clear, leaving no room for misunderstanding. The clash of dark energies intensifies, anticipation building in every syllable. Victory is clear, yet tension lingers as their dark energies clash. Christian's confidence grows with each moment. Christian addresses the gathered young lords, seeking their support with conviction. Everyone in the room responds, showing a mix of anticipation and unease. Christian continues, his tone firm and unwavering. Young lords murmur in response, their eyes shifting between support and suspicion. Christian presses on, his tone leaving no room for debate. The young lords listen, their support wavering. You really need to focus on your own core. Christian's tone carries a hint of condescension, yet there's an underlying tension that Evan senses, despite not speaking. Evan's predicament grows clearer, as Christian's smirk suggests he's outmaneuvered Evan yet again. Christian's smirk widens, challenging Evan to understand his move. Evan's resolve hardens, anticipation building for what comes next. Evan's face contorts with disappointment, his words hanging in the air like unspoken accusations. Acting so high and mighty, but now you're reduced to this? Young lord, your dark energy is quite potent. Christian's voice carries a hint of urgency, but also a dangerous edge. Christian's tone is tense and urgent, leaving no room for misunderstanding. Christian's voice carries a hint of urgency as he warns Evan carefully. He emphasizes the importance of control during the dark energy clash. Tension hangs in the air as Christian's warning lingers, unspoken yet palpable. Christian's voice carries a hint of urgency, but young Master Eshid is visibly shaken and uncertain. Christian's tone conveys a sense of urgency, while young Master Eshid looks visibly uncertain and shaken. Christian's voice carries a note of confidence, but young Master Eshid's tone remains uncertain as he calculates his purity percentage. Christian's determination hardens, setting the stage for his next move. However, he's saying that this test is a formality before officially acting as the young lord. As promised, Christian will give him the test. No member of a branch family has ever taken it before. Prove your qualifications to become a young lord. Evan contemplates, his expression serious as he ponders the challenge ahead. Christian smirks, clearly enjoying Evan's confident yet naive declaration. Evan's confidence meets a sharp rebuke from Christian. Christian's gaze is cold, his words sharp. Evan's confidence meets a setback. Christian's tone remains cold, his words sharp as he explains the challenge ahead. Evan listens intently, processing the complexity of raising dark energy levels. Christian's gaze remains unyielding, his tone sharp as he challenges Evan to consider the limits of dark energy absorption. That wall will hold them back no matter how much genius they possess. He won't be able to overcome it. Christian's expression is earnest, his eyes locking onto Evan with newfound respect. The mansion's atmosphere seems to pulse with anticipation. Young Master's return brings joy and longing to Christian, who feels his true feelings for the first time. Young Master Evan, are you truly unharmed? Christian wonders with a mixture of relief and concern. Rania calls out Evan's name, worry in her voice as she checks on him. Christian looks on, a mix of relief and concern for his friend. Evan feels a mix of relief and dread, reflecting on his past with a newfound clarity. Evan's past life, marked by bloodshed and pain, haunts him now. Evan, reflecting on his past, feels a warmth but wonders if he truly understands those who have supported him. Pardon? Me? Really? Thank you. Thank you for waiting for me. He seems taken aback, his heart racing with a mix of emotions he's trying to understand. Christian's eyes gleam with a mix of determination and a hint of desperation. Evan, taken aback, can hardly believe what he's hearing. Yeah, really. Evan can hardly contain his surprise and excitement. Evan's determination to reach 3 stars remains unbroken, despite the challenges ahead. Evan continues his focused training, determined to reach 3 stars despite the difficulty ahead. Auntie greets Evan without a care, her tone casual yet curious. She wonders if this is the right time for guidance around the garden. Auntie's tone shifts, her voice laced with a hint of mockery as she questions Evan's resolve. Young Master hesitates, clearly unsure about the situation. Marie smiles reassuringly, though her eyes carry a subtle warning. Aunt Marie's tone remains steady, but her expression hints at a deeper concern. Young Master stammers, clearly uncomfortable with the situation. Aunt Marie's gaze remains unwavering, her voice steady yet laced with concern. Young Master stammers, his words trailing off as he tries to grasp what she means. Aunt Marie's tone remains firm, her gaze unwavering as she speaks directly to Young Master. Aunt Marie's tone remains stern, her gaze fixed on Young Master as she continues their conversation. Aunt Marie's concerned tone suggests she senses Young Master is in trouble, but his puzzled response hints at confusion. Parents? Hey kiddo, where are your parents? Respecting and showing some reverence is important, even if you're just starting over. Greetings, clan head. It's an honor to address you. Great. Think you have something even that, no compliments accomplished. He's gone beyond. Yes, of course. You do know, higher than others. However, you should know that it was a foolish decision to encounter walls much beyond 80% of the sacred darkness. Journey ahead is fraught with challenges you can scarcely imagine. Even our ancestor, blessed by his majesty, struggled to reach his height without the demon emperor's interference. Frank asks, seeking to test Evan's abilities with dark energy. Christian challenges Evan, questioning his worth among the dark magic clans. Christian's tone is biting, aimed squarely at Evan. The dark magic clan head questions Evan's worth and past achievements, leaving no room for comfort. Christian's voice drips with contempt as he speaks of Evan's lack of true potential. Evan remains silent, feeling the weight of Christian's dismissive words. Evan listens in silence, feeling a chill at Christian's words. Christian's voice is low, almost a whisper, yet filled with conviction. Evan senses the weight of Christian's resolve, a chill running down his spine. The question lingers, challenging Evan to rise above his doubts. He speaks of power, yet his tone hints at ambition and uncertainty. He hopes you don't regret it, yet his tone suggests he's pushing forward despite doubts. Christian's resolve hardens, his plan to die and control the situation gaining momentum. Christian's resolve only strengthens, his determination to die for control unshaken. Evan looks around, confusion evident in his gaze. Pardon? Evan is bewildered by an unexpected command, his confusion growing. Evan looks around, clearly unsettled by his new surroundings. Christian van Baron-Kazar raises a key, its glow flickering ominously. Again, what? Enough? Clan head is one thing, but this trial monster den is throwing a 2-star child into a 4-Magio fight? Christian stands before him, a look of seriousness on his face. What the hell are you doing? Evan demands, his voice tense. Christian stands resolute, his presence heavy with intent. Evan's tension crackles in the air as he prepares for whatever comes next. Christian's resolve hardens, his voice calm but firm as he addresses Marion directly. Evan stands by, tension palpable in every silent moment. Christian's lips curve into a grim smile, his eyes locked on something only he can see. He craves sweets, a strange and fleeting thought in this moment of serious resolve. Christian's voice holds a hint of sweetness, conflicting with his grim resolve. He nods, then smiles faintly, as if savoring a private joke. Christian contemplates the beasts, his eyes narrowing as he studies their composition. He winces, clearly feeling the strain as he speaks. Mommy's warnings ring true as he spits out poison, acknowledging the harsh reality of his training assignment. No matter his strength, he can't avoid this predicament set by his clan head. Cake. Something like this. A piece of it will be all right. Please, if you like our work, consider donating here. Why are you still working on this assignment? A way to counter such incredible power and speed. He seems to acknowledge something, though what exactly remains unclear. A child, yet your movements are strikingly different from others. How did you manage such agility and resistance to mana, despite your physical strength? This thing has high defense, but how did you take that thing down so quickly? He hesitates, then quickly targets a weakness, exploiting it with precision. Dark mana swirls, a death blow forming with deadly precision. The technique is familiar yet intense, pushing Evan to act quickly. Isn't that the family head's technique you frequently use? The question lingers, tension building as Evan considers the implications. The urgency in Christian's voice hints at impending danger, leaving Evan with a sense of dread. Evan senses Christian's resolve harden, the situation growing more critical. Christian's resolve strengthens, setting the stage for a pivotal confrontation. Approach? Christian's resolve hardens, eyes fixed on the task at hand. Keeps reviving. Try a different rock lizard. Each has 3 stone hearts, so unless you stop all 3 at once, it won't work. Shh. Is he really this quiet? Quiet? Shh. Isn't it? Ho-ho. That's a dark death blow, modified version of... Marion's voice carries a hint of mockery as she speaks, challenging Evan to see something he can't perceive. That's enough. The task is over. He might not even notice. The task is over, yet tension lingers in the air as consequences hang precariously. Christian mutters darkly, his tone heavy with frustration and barely concealed anger. Evan's newfound understanding seems to fuel a lingering tension in the air. Christian's voice carries an edge of finality as he commands Evan and another young master to leave, their expressions reflecting a mixture of unease and determination. Christian's voice booms, challenging Evan to understand the essence of dark arts before they begin their training. Christian van Baron-Kazar watches Evan intently, ready to begin their training. Christian's eyes glint with determination as he prepares to initiate their training. Climb the deep stairs and 12 abysses await you, Evan. O crow who swallows darkness, seeks wisdom, Lord shrouded in mystery, accept it. Praise it. Evan's resolve falters, the weight of his past heavy once more. The stairwell twists into darkness, each step bringing Evan closer to his past. The stairwell's darkness tightens its grip, hinting at what lies ahead. Christian's blade, a conceptual entity, pierces through Evan's neck. The intent is clear yet shocking. This isn't just a physical cut, it's a conceptual one. Month will give you one last chance. Arts, black sword, refine the blade of darkness. Refine the blade of darkness further, he must. What's going on? Christian seems determined, but why now? Christian's hand tightens around the key, tension building in the air. Christian's grip on the key tightens further, the tension in the air palpable. Evan's eyes flicker, his resolve wavering as he struggles to focus on the training ahead. Evan's determination wavers, his resolve fragile as he faces another failed summoning attempt. As expected, the summoning lasts barely 10 seconds. How many more tries will it take? Each failure feels like a step backward. Black sword, abysses will climb the deep stairs. Incantation must find a way, Evan thinks, as he recites the ancient spell with fervor. Christian's resolve is unwavering, even as time ticks down. Marion worries, his eyes searching for a faster way to prepare. Christian remains resolute, knowing time is running out. Christian walks towards Evan with determination, his expression unreadable. The massive wall looms ahead, its dark mana pulsating ominously. Christian approaches, his purpose clear. Evan thanks him, a mix of relief and concern in his voice. Christian's tone is sharp, leaving no room for misunderstanding. Evan acknowledges with a nod, his expression earnest. Christian's voice carries a note of irritation, but Evan remains calm and attentive. Butlikin's task goes beyond expectations, awakening the true black sword with unusual speed. Ah, he disappeared again. That kid truly is something. Demonic path, end of the cursed line. Could he be the lone hope found at the very bottom? Starting tomorrow, rigorous training awaits. Will you be prepared? The path ahead won't be easy. Head? It's fine, huh? Now that you've passed the first hurdle, I trust your guidance, family. You've done well. Today, shall we raise a toast to something? What a lucky break. Better drink up, can't see me here. Christian Van Baron Kazar looks expectantly at him, his gaze piercing. He stammers, clearly surprised. Christian's gaze is unyielding, challenging. Princess Christian stands firm, her gaze unyielding. Evan stammers in confusion and surprise. Evan's eyes widen in disbelief. He stammers, struggling to find words. Evan's eyes widen further, disbelief evident. Christian continues mercilessly, revealing a fiancé from his Venom clan. More fiancé from the Venom clan. Accurately, your former can't believe it either. Ilya sarcastically remarks, bored already. Dark family? She wonders why her father is rushing this arrangement. Duke seems agitated, muttering about his daughter and a potential son-in-law. He hints at selling off his daughter for a son-in-law, clearly frustrated. Hey kid, what are you doing here all alone? Marissa wonders aloud, her tone mingling curiosity and a hint of concern. Marissa asserts her identity, wary of being dismissed as just kid. Christian acknowledges her, hinting at a complex history between them. Marissa asserts her identity, determined to prove herself an adult. Christian acknowledges her with a nod, his expression unreadable. Christian's tone is firm, leaving no room for doubt. Marissa senses his resolve and adjusts her stance accordingly. Christian stands resolute, his tone unwavering. Marissa adjusts her posture, sensing his determination. Okay is good. Let's proceed with their plan. The past engagements, even those arranged, have crumbled into dust. The future they envisioned fades with each passing moment. Gone now? That foolish me, awake at night? The dream we once clung to, fading with each passing moment. The tension in the air thickens as Christian's intent becomes clearer, though no words are spoken yet. So what, princess? Welcome. It's been a while, Marquis. Princess, are you aware of our family's plans regarding this relic? It seems your clan took it last time. What do you intend to do now? Princess, you won't get it on your own terms this time. Christian Van Baron Kazar considers the terms, accepting with a nod. The four kings will be involved, especially to prevent conflict that could lead to heavy losses for both families. Christian's agreement seems too easy, raising suspicion among his counterparts. Christian's tone hardens, his gaze piercing as he anticipates Evan's response. Christian's eyes narrow, his voice steady yet ominous as he outlines their next move. Christian Van Baron Kazar's tone is firm, leaving no room for argument as he sets their next objective. Jupian and Marisa confer in hushed tones, their expressions serious. Christian's eyes gleam with determination. He will control this beautiful stage, no matter the cost. 2 months have passed, and the seasons continue to change. Chris poured himself into a love that had passed, while others began to change their paths. Or left behind as competition sharpened their blades, while others began to change their paths. Meanwhile, their jealous blades sharpened, ready for the conflict to come. Evan and Christian stand face to face, the future uncertain as they await whatever comes next. It's time. Now then, prove your worth. That expression's TT, the Black Sword. Christian's words carry weight, hinting at a challenging task ahead. The Black Sword awaits, its presence ominous. Christian's tone suggests he expects an easy task, but doubts it will be achieved. Christian's tone hints at an expectation of failure, yet he presses on with his command. Christian's tone conveys a mix of confidence and urgency as he commands Evan. Christian's voice is steady, but his tone hints at hidden tension. Evan must be ready at any moment. Christian's voice is firm, but Evan senses an undercurrent of urgency. Christian's tone is serious, his expression grim. He seems to be thinking aloud, pondering something significant about Royne. Christian's tone is firm, his words a challenge. Evan, confused and on edge, tries to pull away, but Christian holds steady. Christian's eyes are cold, his tone mocking. Evan resists, clearly agitated but held in place. Christian's tone is cold and mocking. Evan struggles to respond, his agitation clear. Evan clenches his fists, struggling to maintain composure. In the end, Rowan's fate accelerates the age of destruction. As expected, it was me who ended up there. Some simple test. This isn't just about Rowan's fate. Wait. Acting rashly is risky. First, I need to gather evidence. Head outside, but without solid proof, I'm only a 3-star hero and can't do much. You punk. Do you think you're going? What does it matter where you are heading? Then I go anyway. I heard he's an exploration team member. Anything right this time too, probably idiot. Christian is covering for me, but I don't like it. Christian strides towards the exit, his resolve hardening. Christian's determination hardens, leaving no room for doubt. Christian's resolve solidifies, leaving Evan with a heavy sense of foreboding. Christian's resolve is clear, leaving Evan with a sense of unease as they prepare for their expedition. Evan watches with concern as Christian's eyes lock onto something, his resolve unshaken. Christian's gaze remains fixed, his determination unwavering despite Evan's concerns. Why do you keep working on? Manhwa, even though it's hard? I became the genius bastard of a noble dark clan. Tension builds as Christian Van Baron Kazar mocks Evan's current state, hinting at his own agenda and the gravity of their situation. Christian dismisses Evan's current state, hinting at his own plans and the precarious situation they're in. Hush now, don't worry, everything is under control here. Who are you? This is unexpected. Your men were supposed to handle things quietly. Christian looks determined, ready to move. Evan hesitates, knowing what must be done. Christian strides forward, determined. Evan remains uncertain, his expression conflicted. Hey, how far in are we? Christian's gaze is intense, his steps echoing through the halls. Evan's voice carries through the halls, his concern clear and urgent. Christian nods, a determined look on his face. The Dominion's destruction is inevitable, but help might still be possible. Christian's resolve is unshaken, but Evan sees the weight of his decision in every word. Christian's resolve is firm, but he acknowledges the Venom clan's involvement with a grim tone. Christian's tone is tense as he questions Marissa's involvement, his voice steady but laced with skepticism. Christian's tone hardens, his gaze intense as he demands answers from Marissa. Christian's tone remains firm, his gaze unwavering as he waits for Marissa's response. Marissa hesitates, clearly weighing her words. Marissa looks conflicted, her expression a mix of hesitation and defiance. Christian's tone remains stern, leaving no room for misinterpretation. Marissa's eyes narrow, her tone firm as she states, "This." Christian Van Baron Kazar's resolve hardens, his intent clear. Christian's resolve hardens further, his tone leaving no room for doubt. Evan's options seem increasingly limited as he contemplates the situation. Christian's resolve hardens, his voice firm and unyielding. Evan watches, his options narrowing. Well, what I needed. Getting in, Evan hesitates as he notices the creatures. Entry cards are required for the Dark Auction House, and none of his party has one. Rhea decries Marquis Wrangham, cautioning Evan to trust him cautiously. The mention of the Venom clan stirs unease in her voice. Rhea prepares to send a message, ensuring she writes carefully. She seems wary and focused. Rhea's fingers hover over the message, her decision heavy. Rhea considers her next move, her resolve firming. Fancy A sends a message, clearly mocking and warning Evan. Christian Van Baron Kazar looks down on Evan, his tone cold and dismissive. He speaks of a place that isn't suitable for someone like Evan, emphasizing the gap between them. Christian Van Baron Kazar's tone remains cold as he dismisses Evan, emphasizing the gap between them even with VIP treatment. Christian's cold tone leaves Evan with a chilling sense of rejection. Lady Rhea Day speaks firmly, her tone leaving no room for argument. The manager hesitates, clearly uncomfortable. The manager's voice trembles as he speaks, clearly under pressure. Evan's presence is felt, though unseen. The situation is tense and unresolved. Christian Van Baron Kazar's voice carries a sense of resolve, but also hints at hidden pain. Christian's resolve is unwavering, but his voice betrays a lingering sorrow. Christian's tone remains firm, but his gaze seems distant. The massive Deer Guild looms ominously in the background, its influence undeniable. Rudolph Guild's branch manager thanks you for waiting. He introduces himself as manager. Oh, head of this auction house branch. Excuse me, what do you need from me? Union on Demand can't summon her. She must be here somewhere nearby. Huh? About what relic's power are you convincing me of? Act already? Christian seems impatient, his tone sharp and commanding. You know my past? This revelation surprises Evan, building tension as he processes Christian's admission. Christian spits out insults, clearly angry and offensive. Evan stands firm, unyielding to Christian's mockery. Christian spits out a stream of insults, clearly angered by Evan's presence. Evan stands firm, unyielding to the mockery. Christian spits out accusations, his voice laced with anger. Evan remains silent, staring back defiantly. Christian's accusation hangs in the air, unspoken but heavy. Christian's tone suggests he's not fully convinced, yet he seems willing to play along for now. But at least we might be able to counter a few of them. Among Marquis Rongum's plans, boost our power without drastically changing things. Hey, you, where do you think you're wandering off to? Come join training day after tomorrow. But that instead, you folks training? Work hard, forget it, no thanks. And I'm tired, leave him be. Useless as Roin, so why bother? So let him go. Why is he acting like that? He's not worth any merit, it'll be if he doesn't earn the opportunity. He must be useful for something, or so they think. Christian continues his mocking, leaving no room for Evan's defense. Christian's words drip with malice, leaving Evan no room to respond. Christian's tone is menacing, leaving no doubt about his intentions. Christian's voice carries a dangerous edge, challenging Evan's understanding of reality. Christian's tone grows sharper, his expression cold and calculating. Evan senses a dire turn in their conversation. Christian's tone hardens, his gaze piercing as he challenges Evan directly. Christian's eyes narrow, his voice cold and direct. So, are you in or not? Christian's tone remains cold and unwavering as he waits for a response, his eyes boring into Evan's. Christian's voice drips with disdain as he dismisses Evan, leaving no room for argument. Christian's voice carries a hint of malice as he speaks, his tone sharp and unyielding. Christian's voice drips with cold calculation as he speaks, his intent clear and unyielding. He awaits a response, the air charged with tension. Brat, medicine, you little fool, the fire's too weak. Ella continues to nag, her voice growing louder. The flames barely dance, struggling to catch. Ella's voice echoes, growing louder with each word. The flames barely flicker, struggling to catch the herbs. She too couldn't escape the Demon King's wrath, her blade shattered in vain. Guy managed to recreate our clan's elixirs with just a rough explanation. You're one strange fellow indeed. Is all thanks to you, even the head of the noble house of medicine owes his life to your strange abilities. Christian Van Baron Kazar's determination is clear, though his path is grim. Christian hands Evan a book, his face grim. It contains our clan's secrets. Christian's eyes are serious, his voice grave as he speaks of a favor. Evan's coughing weakens his plea. Master, will you accept this? Can I call you that from now on? Like me, who can't even act like a proper disciple. Pledge will be kept, though trials lie ahead. Promises made in battlefields are hard to fulfill. Hey now, your master. With you on the battlefield, I might just become known as a saint somewhere, but in this life too, I'll keep the promise I made. Evan's predicament deepens as the young master prepares to face an uncertain future. Finally, my lord, the Sister Miriam said, sent a letter. He obtained the dark young master has. Young master hesitates, his expression unreadable as he contemplates the letter's contents. My son, it seems you have received a letter from Sister Marian. Preparations will need to be made quickly. Move in aloud. Teams of at least 2 required. Christian Van Baron Kazar prepares to cross the border between the Dark Clan and Venom Clan. Christian stands firm, determination etched on his face as he addresses someone unseen. Christian pauses, likely addressing someone unseen, his tone laced with a hint of mockery. He seems confident in his assessment of the situation. Christian hands Evan an antidote, his tone dripping with sarcasm. Poison? You'll need it. Oh my, you. Brewing? Is this internal strife already? Slowpoke yourself. What a waste. Christian Van Baron Kazar seems unfazed by Evan's impatience, maintaining a calm demeanor as he waits for his companion to catch up. Christian's tone remains steady, signaling no change in his plan. Evan watches cautiously, prepared for any move. Christian's gaze remains unyielding, his command clear and firm. Evan watches, readiness evident in his stance. Is he thinking of abandoning his communicator? His gaze drifts, uncertain. He thinks of his past life, wandering beastlands endlessly to distinguish deeper truths. His eyes close as he contemplates the beasts and their habitats. He doubts her, thinking no assassins are lurking to rescue them. Marissa seems uncertain, her words trailing off as she searches for something important to say. Christian's voice carries a sense of determination, but Evan's mixed signals create uncertainty. Christian's voice is firm, but there's a hint of urgency. Marissa appears uncertain, looking back and forth between Christian and Evan. Marissa looks confused, her gaze shifting between Christian and Evan, unsure of how to react. Marissa seems taken aback, her expression a mix of confusion and discomfort. Christian's apology feels forced, his words barely masking his underlying tension. Christian's apology feels hollow, his voice tense as he urges Marissa to accept it now. Christian's words carry a weight of uncertainty, his tone urgent yet cautious. Marissa listens intently, her expression a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Christian's voice carries urgency, his tone leaving no room for misunderstanding. Marissa listens intently, her expression a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Christian's voice is urgent, his every word a command. Marissa listens intently, her expression showing both curiosity and apprehension. This is my family's legacy. Marissa clenches her fist, clearly angry and determined to defend it. Evan's predicament grows more dire as the Dark Clan's influence spreads. Blue Bloom, how is it? My apology. No signal. It'll explode through your veins. With just one. Come on, he needs to finish his threat. Christian's determination hardens, leaving no room for mercy. I'm afraid I can't do that, insists Evan firmly. I'm afraid I can't do that, insists Evan firmly. It's detoxed? The witch has a reason to be called that indeed. Clan, right? The divine healer's voice grows urgent. This poison. You've heard of it before, haven't you? Sayings fly back and forth, each more insistent than the last. What does this mean for Evan's situation? Christian's voice carries a note of reassurance, but his eyes hint at something darker. Christian's voice holds a note of finality. The message is clear, yet tense anticipation lingers in the air. A message from Lady Marissa arrives, but its content remains unclear, adding to the tension. Now what? Suddenly, everything's turned upside down. Cliffs? Clan bastards? Suddenside? You want us to scout into those venomous depths without running? Christian's determination hardens, his resolve unshaken by the unexpected turn of events. Christian's voice carries a tone of finality as he speaks, hinting at unseen power and hidden secrets. Christian's voice grows more intense, his tone leaving no room for doubt about the coming revelation. Christian's voice grows cold and menacing, his resolve unshakable. Christian's resolve hardens, his next move clear but ominous. Christian strides forward, his steps deliberate and resolute. He seems almost amused by something, though the reason eludes Evan for now. Christian's voice carries a hint of amusement, challenging Evan's understanding. The Dark Clan members show no signs of urgency, leaving Evan puzzled and frustrated. Christian's voice lingers, full of subtle mockery. The Dark Clan members remain calm, their movements deliberate and unhurried. One figure stands out with a murky energy core, while another seems to be a woman of the Venom clan, giving off a strong sense of venomous intent. Anyway, trouble, fight, huh? Well, this wouldn't go well for the Venom clan. How he talks, judging from his demeanor, he's probably a low-level hero who dropped dead. So this is all about Marissa, that direct heir of the Venmo clan. All the pests should just disappear. It's a relic too, not that it matters much now. What kind of relic is this, I wonder? Careful, Marissa. To hand over the better option, better we agree to tackle this out where those pests are. You guys, go find the problem once we take care of them. Roger shrugs, dismissing the character. Only a 4-star, but why bother? Dumb-as-looking opponent, really? Trez gotta be more to this than meets the eye. Without causing a commotion, let's see what's happening. Literal crap? Looks around in disbelief, wide-eyed. He protests, clearly irritated by whatever's happening, but his voice is drowned out by chaos around him. He scoffs, clearly annoyed. This thing? Christian smirks, offering a challenge. Shall we? A little fun, shall we? It's a summoning stone designed to store beasts up to grade 4. So what you'll be tweaking that second-hand relic? Huh? A mission? Has something changed? This isn't the amulet? The amulet? The Twilight Amulet? He clenches his fists, voice trembling with barely suppressed anger. What the hell do you call this joke? How could you do this joke to me? Who are you? Aren't you Venom Clan's princess? Princess Venom's gaze is cold and unyielding. The situation hangs in tense silence. Princess Venom's glare intensifies, leaving no room for misunderstanding. Evan considers his next move, knowing trust is a scarce commodity here. Christian looks towards Evan, his expression hard to read. Evan contemplates Christian's words, unsure of his intentions. Princess looks towards Christian, her expression a mix of confusion and urgency. Christian gestures excitedly, pointing at something in his hand. Princess nods eagerly, her tone urgent. Christian points at something in his hand, clearly excited. Princess looks at Christian intently, her expression mixed with excitement and a hint of uncertainty. Christian points to something in his hand, his tone confident yet slightly tense. Christian gestures towards something, his tone firm but tense. Princess's expression shifts, a mix of concern and determination. Squad members exchange uneasy glances, ready to follow orders. Christian gestures firmly, his voice leaving no room for argument. The princess's expression remains resolute as she and her squad prepare to follow orders. What's sealed? The exit's happening all of a sudden. Poison detected. The air is thick with danger. Everyone, stay alert. It's over. Christian's voice is firm and resolute. Christian's voice carries a chilling determination as he outlines his plan, leaving no room for doubt. Marissa's lab looms ahead, its ominous aura barely disturbed by Christian's calm command. Christian chuckles, his tone mocking. Looks like you must have really missed your old job, huh? Christian's smirk widens. Not at all. Think you stand a chance against me, Evan? He waves his hand dismissively. Ha, how touching. Christian Van Baron Kazar smirks, his confidence unshaken. Not at all. Think you stand a chance against me, Evan? He waves his hand dismissively. Ha, how touching. Evan stammers, clearly caught off guard. Hey, Catch, what is this? Evan looks bewildered, his eyes wide as he stammers out. Hey, Catch, what is this? Christian stands confidently, holding a glowing relic. Christian Van Baron Kazar speaks confidently, holding a glowing relic. Evan looks bewildered and stammers, "Hey, catch, what is this?" Christian Van Baron Kazar looks expectant, holding out the relic. Evan stammers in confusion and mild panic, trying to comprehend what's happening. Christian Van Baron Kazar's gaze is steady, his expression serious. Evan looks bewildered, struggling to follow Christian's intent. Christian's tone is sharp, challenging Evan to respond with a serious thought. Christian looks stern, his eyes narrowing at Evan. Christian stands firm, his tone challenging as he addresses Evan directly. The atmosphere is charged with tension and unresolved conflict. "Let's go." Christian's resolve is unwavering, his determination clear. "Sure, let's go." The challenge is on, and Christian is determined to prove himself. Diegetic tension mounts as Christian spits insults, his resolve unshaken. The tension between Christian and his opponents grows, each awaiting the other's move. But not bad. "You're a bug." "Kuh, obviously. Are not even a 5-star? You sure you're knights?" "Trash, the Black Swamp." "Now, you, Tickle, how dare you feel like that hit?" The young master's accusation intensifies, leaving Christian with no room to maneuver. The young master's accusation cuts deep, amplifying Christian's frustration. Did he take the hit on purpose, just for that? Captain issues an urgent command, his voice carrying weight and authority. "Eyes on me, the fight's not over yet." Or were you hiding, planning a sneak attack? You scared he'd take the hit on purpose, just for that? What the? Christian Van Baron Kazar suddenly appears, catching Evan off guard. Evan keeps his thoughts to himself, wary of the young master's probing questions. The conversation hangs in the air, filled with unspoken tensions and hidden meanings. Whatever. If you won't answer, then I'll just keep wondering. Evan's doubts linger, casting a shadow over their uncertain future. Evan's doubt lingers, unspoken tensions building between them and their companion. Fix it when you're not distracted, Evan. Your field of vision narrows when you tense up, and that's no great habit. Christian's resolve hardens, setting the stage for a confrontation. Christian's voice is firm and resolute as he speaks to Marissa, his resolve unwavering. The Venom clan will deal with Dubian and ensure their downfall. Christian's resolve is unwavering, leaving no doubt about his intentions. Marissa's suspicion grows, sensing something amiss. Suspicion grows among them, each word a dagger in the darkening atmosphere. Christian's resolve remains unshaken, but Marissa senses something isn't right. Evan contemplates, deciding his next move must prioritize Christian's death. Like it. That's more. Convincing. Christian's resolve hardens, his expression unyielding. Christian tightens his grip on the key, determination etched in every line of his stance. All, huh? Energy, huh? So you didn't create a clone to become young lord out of Demonio by luck after. The young master's resolve hardens, ready for whatever comes next. Like this. Using an illusion for a sneak attack? I knew you'd try something like this. Evan's fate hangs in the balance as Christian prepares to make his move. Christian's voice carries a sinister calm, his words like a knife slicing through the air. Evan's frustration simmers, his resolve to change something now clearer than ever. Bug utters mockingly, clearly annoyed by the accusation. The young master's eyes widen in shock, his voice caught in a mix of disbelief and awe as he stammers out, "The sword?" Tension hangs heavy as Christian's eyes narrow, his next move uncertain but dangerous. Gah! Christian's expression remains intense, leaving Evan uncertain of his next move. Evan's expression shows deep contemplation, his mind racing with thoughts of the impending fate. Why? Thanks. No choice. Reputation, impossible. You're saving the whole plan? He's saving something, but at what cost? The plan's future hangs in balance. He hesitates, then concedes, the weight of his decision clear in his eyes. Clash of energies erupts, the air crackling with demonic force. Evan's regret lingers, his future hanging by a thread. Christian's mockery cuts deep, Evan's rebuttal sharp and forceful. I hope I used it well, Christian. Fighting those guys took more time than expected. Staff artifact you gave me. Can't you come any closer? It's overwhelming. Christian acknowledges Evan's presence, but his tone remains cold and dismissive. The mission has likely gone wrong, leaving evidence behind. Christian contemplates Evan's presence, his expression unreadable. He muses aloud about past battles and injured mercenaries. Christian considers Evan's presence, his voice firm as he insists on silence to avoid provoking the Marquis. That's enough. 3 survivors. That's enough. 3 survivors. Agreement on that incident 1 week later stirred up both families into a tight spot. Compensation by mutual consent, but it was settled with those at fault getting what they deserved. On the surface, extreme poison magicians were just scouting, but Christian's tone is firm, leaving no room for argument. The situation remains tense and unresolved. Young Master Maurice's heart pounds wildly, her voice breaking as she pleads for understanding. Christian's expression remains stern, his words cutting deep. Young Master Marissa's plea for understanding is met with Christian's stern response, her heart pounding fiercely as she clings to hope. Young Master Marissa insists on eating alone, her voice firm yet trembling. Christian regards her with a mixture of amusement and seriousness. Lady Marissa firmly sets down her bowl, a hint of defiance in her tone. Christian leans forward, his expression neither sympathetic nor condescending. Christian leans closer, his voice dripping with charm. Lady Marissa stands her ground, a subtle defiance in her posture. Christian leans closer, his tone smooth yet insistent. Lady Marissa's expression remains stern, though a hint of curiosity flickers in her eyes. Christian leans in, his tone smooth and menacing. Lady Marissa's expression remains stern, but shows a flicker of curiosity. Christian leans closer, his tone low and menacing. Evan nods slowly, trying to understand the situation. Christian leans in, his tone dark and menacing. Evan's expression is a mix of confusion and growing dread. Christian raises his head, his eyes locking onto Evan's with an unsettling intensity. The promise of dark intentions hangs in the air. Christian continues, his gaze piercing Evan's. Does that include Lady Jupian too? Christian's eyes narrow, his tone cold and unyielding. Does that include Lady Jupian too? She drained my energy, I need to leave now. Why are you still staring? Leaning back, she hesitates, then speaks softly, her gaze fixed on something beyond the hero, Evan's questioning eyes. Marissa seems hesitant, her expression a mix of concern and uncertainty. Marissa looks uneasy, her voice trailing off as she questions Evan's well-being. Why again? Father sees you. So. Wants to argue about Marissa being tied up? Duke Huam wonders why Poison Clan members want to see him. Such a figure, why bring him here? Christian's voice carries a sense of finality as he speaks, leaving little room for doubt. Malin informs that Christian had an informant within the Poison Clan, but how did he find out so quickly? Melon's voice trembles as he struggles to process the revelation. Christian infiltrated the Poison Clan expedition, breaking rules and seeking deadly knowledge. Melon's voice shakes as he speaks, tension building between him and Christian. Christian remains calm, his expression unreadable. Melon thanks Christian for saving their team, but his tone suggests lingering unease. Christian's calm response hints at hidden motives. Christian leans in, his tone serious. Melon looks taken aback, unsure of what's coming next. Christian's voice carries a mix of seriousness and challenge. Melon looks taken aback, her expression uncertain. Christian looks surprised, his expression shifting rapidly as he processes Evan's unexpected acceptance. Lord Christian hesitates, his tone shifting as he tries to navigate Evan's sudden agreement. Something in his family's plans has changed, but he's unsure what. Lord Christian's tone wavers, unsure if Evan is jesting or serious about the engagement. He glances around, sensing the guests watching with interest. Christian's voice trails off, his expression a mix of confusion and genuine interest. Evan's response seems to surprise even him. Christian's tone shifts, becoming more formal and serious. Evan's surprise is palpable, his confusion evident in the brief moment of silence that follows. Christian's tone is formal and authoritative, leaving Evan puzzled by the sudden change in demeanor. Christian's tone conveys a sense of triumph as he speaks, leaving Evan feeling puzzled and on edge. Christian chuckles, his tone dripping with sarcasm. Evan's face contorts in confusion and irritation. No, there's more to this than meets the eye. Marchioness Fresha's words carry weight, hinting at a hidden truth. Christian's voice rings with determination. Evan's concern grows, sensing danger. Christian's resolve is unshakable, leaving Evan's heart heavy with worry. Christian sternly insists Evan should not interfere, emphasizing the situation belongs to him alone. Christian's tone leaves no room for argument, his resolve firm and unwavering. Christian stands confidently, his tone leaving no doubt. Young Master approaches nervously, unsure of what to expect. Christian confidently addresses Young Master, while Young Master nervously approaches, unsure of Christian's intentions. Christian smirks, his tone mocking. Young Master's nervousness is palpable, but he forces a smile. Young Master's voice trembles as he stammers out his question. Christian's smirk widens, hinting at a hidden agenda. Young Master's voice trembles as he stammers out his question, clearly uncertain and fearful. Christian smirks wider, hinting at a hidden agenda. Christian smirks, leaning forward slightly. Young Master stammers, clearly nervous. Young Master hesitates, clearly uncomfortable with the conversation's direction. Christian leans in, his tone mocking and condescending. What did I do wrong? Prince Christian hands Evan a key, his expression unreadable. Prince Christian's voice carries a hint of mockery as he speaks, emphasizing each word with deliberate slowness. Christian Van Baron Khazar, the prince, remains stoic and unyielding. Christian remains firm, his tone unwavering as he questions Evan's intentions. Christian's tone is resolute, his gaze unwavering as he continues to challenge Evan's resolve. Like that? Princesses not just divine figures, they are family. Christian's voice is firm, directing Evan to follow him. Evan hesitates briefly before standing up and walking towards Christian. Christian von Baron-Kazar stands resolutely, about to begin the investiture ceremony for Christian. Thus, Mage Family. We declare that Prince of the Dark K.H. Azar has become a Christian von Baron-Kazar. Christian's determination grows, his voice firm and resolute as he speaks of his new power and ambitions. The age of destruction looms closer, but with it comes the chance to rise above it. Christian's voice hardens, his resolve unshakable as he eyes the approaching dragon. Christian's voice remains steady as he commands, "Breakthrough? How did it get past our defenses?" Christian's voice commands, "Deploy, targeting the prince." The formation activates, preparing for battle. That is, the formation activates, preparing for an intense confrontation. Ga, Christian, form ranks, protect the family head, and... I can't hold on much longer. The necromancer's strength is overwhelming. Family has sent quite the gift indeed. The necromancer's interest is clear. Tension hangs in the air as Christian's determination hardens, knowing he must act fast. Christian's resolve hardens, his voice firm as he addresses Evan directly. "Dragon, pardon?" Everyone step back. By family, it's impossible. With Christian's current strength, the necromancer dragon is a death sentence for him. Abilities at least befitting heirs of princes and princesses. Christian's gaze shifts to Evan, his expression unreadable. The younger clan member continues to mockously challenge him. Misak smirks, clearly not taking Evan's warning seriously. Misak swings his sword, slicing through the air with precision. Tch, that mark? It can't be right. The mark of a necromancer controls the dead. This secret art. But why now? In this place? Necromancy? Is it relevant here? A reason disrupts the ceremony, hinting at a confrontation to come. Evan's fate hangs in the balance, hinted at by Christian's cryptic remarks. Mark? Enough. Even Jupiter's energy won't be a big dragon's flaps. The insane pressure of its wings creates an aura that doesn't work. Ordinary demonios are useless here. Christian's smirk grows wider, his voice dripping with disdain. Would be useless. Move now. You're still a bit lacking. You move now. He still lacks in precision. Evan's struggle is clear as he contemplates his next move in the tense standoff. Evan's resolve falters as he faces Christian's determined stance. Evan's predicament deepens as Christian's resolve hardens, setting the stage for a confrontation. Ashid's voice trembles with disbelief and awe. The power they're witnessing is far beyond anything known, setting a new standard. Ashid's voice trembles, overwhelmed by the power they see. This must be what Aunt Yulian meant by overwhelming force. Like this, Ashid's voice trembles. This power, overwhelming. Even Ashid can't match it. Why is she hiding demonic energy? Obsidian Mage's skill with archery is condensed into an instant strike. Christian smiles, offering his congratulations. The ceremony has indeed turned out quite differently from expectations. Christian's smile wavers slightly, the grand ceremony taking an unexpected turn. Christian's voice carries a hint of uncertainty as he speaks, the grand ceremony taking an unexpected turn. Christian spits out his next words with disdain, the pressure in the air growing thicker. Malin, the young master of a dark magic clan, pledges his loyalty to Prince Christian with a sense of inevitability. Prince Christian is flanked by knights who bow, showing their allegiance to him as Malin pledges his loyalty. The atmosphere is tense and formal. Timing is crucial, a favor indeed. You didn't expect me to intervene, did you? Keep your promise, right? Christian speaks, but Kaysen's response is terse and measured. The situation hangs in tension between them. Kaysen's tone is firm, leaving no room for misunderstanding. Christian's response, though terse, acknowledges the gravity of the situation. Chaka looks bewildered, clearly unaware of the gravity of the situation. This is a great merit for your side. He will learn and have a bright future. Christian Ben Baron-Kazar continues his assessment, emphasizing Alas's potential and past. Christian hands Alas a small gift, his expression earnest. Alas looks taken aback, clearly not expecting this gesture. Christian extends a gift, his tone formal and sincere. Alas stands, taken aback by the gesture. Prince Christian's confident tone clashes with Alas's skeptical grunt. Misak watches, eyes narrowing slightly. Christian's tone remains confident, while Alas shows clear skepticism. Misak watches closely, tension in his stance. Christian's voice carries confidence, but Alas's skepticism is palpable. Misak watches intently, his stance tense. Christian's ambition is clear, but Yulian remains unperturbed. The Dark Mage family's future hangs in the balance. Welcome indeed if someone else were to surpass her. That would be a different matter. This is pathetic. Unsurprising, but they're just as incompetent. Master? Rumor? What are you doing, young master? This is interesting. Are you planning to kill them? Christian Ben Baron-Kazar laughs loudly, his words dripping with mockery. Young master, you are nothing but a fool and a dark mage fool at that. Young master hesitates, clearly taken aback by Christian's mockery. He stammers, trying to find his footing in the conversation. Young master stammers, clearly struggling to maintain his composure. Christian Van Baron-Kazar's laughter grows louder, mocking him mercilessly. Christian Van Baron-Kazar's laughter echoes through the hall, growing louder with each step Evan takes. Christian Van Baron-Kazar heads towards a door, his steps resolute. He pauses, glancing back at Evan with an unreadable expression. He hesitates, then nods reluctantly, his eyes flicker to Evan, who watches him warily. Christian Van Baron-Kazar inquires politely, showing a composed facade. Either way, progress is being made in physical training and swordsmanship. The curse magic shows no sign of hindering his development. He vows to defeat Evan, grateful for the chance, requests a sparring match next visit. Christian Van Baron-Kazar considers Evan's abilities, hiding his true intentions behind a casual smile. Christian considers Evan's response, a hint of amusement in his smile. Evan remains unfazed, focusing on his training report. Christian's smile widens, a hint of amusement lingering. Evan remains stern, his focus unshaken by the prince's jest. Christian Van Baron-Kazar smirks, clearly enjoying Evan's discomfort. Evan maintains a stony expression, not letting Christian's mockery rattle him. Chris regards Evan with a challenging look, his tone dripping with arrogance. Evan remains unperturbed, maintaining his composed expression. Chris narrows his eyes, his tone dripping with contempt. Evan remains silent, unfazed by the barb. Christian Van Baron-Kazar spits out a string of insults, his tone venomous. The young master retorts with equal venom, their words sharp and cutting. Christian's insults fly thick and fast, each word sharper than the last. The young master's response is just as biting, their voices cutting through the air like razors. Christian's insults continue, each word more cutting than the last. The young master retorts with equal venom, their voices a sharp contrast in the tense air. Christian's taunts slice through the air, each one sharper than the last. The young master counters with biting wit, their words a sharp counterpoint to Christian's insults. Tension crackles in the air as Christian's taunts continue, meeting a swift counter from the young master. "Mother? Recklessly, you dare to provoke me further. Apologize if you truly wish to avoid conflict." Christian Van Baron-Kazar smirks, eyes narrowing at Evan. He gestures towards his office with a dismissive wave. Christian Van Baron-Kazar's smirk widens, eyes locking onto Evan with intense scrutiny. Frisia's words carry weight, each syllable emphasizing her power and position. The mention of Misak as a biological son adds complexity to their relationship. Prince Christian speaks with a tone of finality, his words laden with significance as he prepares to make an important announcement. Misak listens intently, his expression unreadable. Prince Christian's voice carries a weight of decision, leaving Misak in silence as he processes the coming change. Misak's silence stretches, heavy with unspoken defiance. Christian's tone leaves no room for argument. Christian's resolve hardens, preparing for a confrontation that will define his rule. Christian clenches his jaw, determination etched on his face. He speaks with a cold, resolute tone. Christian's tone is firm, leaving no room for doubt. He expects Misak to accept his challenge. Christian's tone remains resolute, leaving no doubt about his expectations. He orders Misak to accept the challenge and spar with him. Expected no less, he leaves with a shrug. Young master life has its perks. Thank you for your time. Not a single thing is over yet. My comfortable life continues. And, as expected, the next day, Fresh's schemes begin to unfold. Prince Christian's resolve hardens, setting the stage for his next move. Christian's resolve hardens, his voice steady as he continues the plan. Christian's voice remains resolute as he continues, his plan unfolding with precision. Christian's voice carries a sense of finality as he instructs Evan and the others to clean thoroughly. The task seems more than just housework, hinting at deeper implications. Yes, Evan's voice seems hesitant, weighed down by something heavy. Amazing. This is going way faster than expected. When will I be able to return to human form? The wait is agonizing. Such training, dark demonic energy, a prince of the lineage of dark magic, full support for all techniques linked to... Christian gestures confidently, guiding Evan's wrist. That's how a swordsman does it. Christian guides Evan's wrist, his expression serious. Balance is key, he says, repeating a principle from earlier training sessions. Christian chuckles, his expression serious. Prince, haha, third day of class, you're in charge of illusion magic. Mistress Tian's progress in raising the soul remains unclear. Christian chuckles darkly, his authority unshaken. Christian's tone is firm, leaving no room for misinterpretation. Evan understands he must follow orders. Christian's tone remains firm, leaving no doubt about his expectations. Evan nods, understanding he must comply. Christian's tone is unwavering, leaving no room for argument. Evan nods, silently acknowledging the order. Christian's tone remains firm, leaving no doubt about his command. Evan nods silently, acknowledging the order. Christian's tone is resolute, leaving no room for argument. Evan remains silent, nodding only slightly. Christian's determination is unshaken, leaving no doubt about his intentions. Evan remains silent, understanding the gravity of the situation. Christian's resolve remains strong, but Evan's response is guarded and filled with unspoken regret. Christian Van Baron Kazar confidently states his intentions, while Evan remains cautious, hinting at unresolved tension between them. Evan thanks Christian, though his tone hints at reluctance. Christian crosses his arms, clearly unimpressed by Evan's attitude. Christian crosses his arms, clearly unimpressed. Evan's arrogance only irritates him further. Christian's gaze remains stern, unyielding to Evan's attempt at persuasion. Christian's voice carries a hint of disdain as he speaks, clearly not impressed by Evan's plea. Christian's eyes narrow, his tone dripping with skepticism as he challenges Evan's abilities. Nordian mages can only fall if eliminated by another Nordian. These can't be transferred, only ended here and now. My, what does this young upstart think he can do? The family head declares their victory in dark tones, echoing through the halls. Family, long live the dark mage. The victory is ours, declared with unyielding conviction. Family, long live the dark mage. The family head declares with fervor, a sense of victory and pride in every word. So much, I liked it. I'll return it and say a word. Really saw through my heart and shaped that illusion? Young master seems agitated, questioning the letter's contents and ingredients. Misok laughs, clearly amused by something Evan hasn't shared yet. Evan trains to meet expectations, showing determination. Misok's laughter continues, adding to the tension as Christian prepares for a duel. Evan nods in agreement, clearly understanding the stakes. Christian Van Baron Kazar's tone hardens, his gaze intense as he anticipates the duel. Misok chuckles, clearly amused by the situation. Lady Aresh's voice carries a mix of amusement and disdain, her tone sharp as she addresses Misok. Christian watches intently, his expression unreadable. Christian's tone is cold and menacing, each word dripping with malice. Misok shivers under his harsh gaze. Christian's gaze intensifies, leaving Misok trembling in anticipation of his punishment. Christian's voice carries a cold, calculated tone. The implications of their actions loom heavily in the air. Christian's cold voice continues, leaving no room for doubt. The only choice is to face them until a weapon can be obtained. Christian's voice rings cold and unwavering. Back then, full concentration was key. Even now, maintaining control for a minute requires heavy stamina. Christian's voice taunts, "Brat? There's less training going on?" Young master mocks, "Why does that guy get more frivolous by the day?" Young master counters with a smirk, "Of course. Your gift." Young master smirks, clearly enjoying his jab. Christian remains unperturbed, maintaining a composed demeanor despite the insult. Christian stands firm, his composed expression unyielding despite young master's jabs. Young master smirks, clearly relishing the verbal sparring match. Young master remains unfazed, his smirk unshaken. First Princess Yulian's name is mentioned with a slight pause, hinting at tension or hidden meaning behind it. Between Marquis Langham and his former wife Fond, young master's personality has changed dramatically. Something significant must have happened to alter her so profoundly. The young master's personality shift is indeed suspicious, warranting further observation over 5 years. Such a drastic change cannot be easily explained. The young master's changed demeanor is indeed perplexing, hinting at a deeper mystery. The ghosts in the main house chatter about you more than usual, suggesting something significant. That means, if all mage family ghosts listened to her after that, she became a banshee queen? And of the dark realm? Nothing in particular. Mari seems hesitant, unsure of what to say next. Master acknowledges the young man's efforts, offering a nod of approval and gratitude. The young man's voice carries a hint of determination as he speaks, his words resonating with resolve. A month has passed and they faced Mysak again. The duel looms closer with each passing day. The young lord speaks of his intentions, addressing a large audience. The Grand Patriarch seems uncertain, pondering their upcoming duel with young Eord. Young Lord Christian von Baron Kazar eyes Evan, preparing to declare his intentions. The Grand Patriarch looks on, clearly expecting a duel. Compression magic surges, creating a blinding explosion. Dark energy dissipates in its wake. Christian's eyes gleam with determination as he spits out his threat, the room's tension palpable. Christian's grip on the key tightens, his resolve unshaken. Christian's voice is steady, but his expression remains unreadable. The key glows faintly in his hand, the mental magic clearly weighing on him. Christian holds the key, its glow hinting at the powerful magic about to be unleashed. "I'll make you regret your actions." "Shit. Ha ha ha, you piece of shit." Christian's laughter echoes, dark and triumphant. The end is near, but Evan can't shake the feeling of impending doom. Evan's fate hangs in the balance, his regret clear as Christian prepares to die. Salbiel Ewan mocks Evan, calling him a bastard and a 4-star fall. Might lies in destruction, yet his focus is flawed. Might be great for destruction, yet his teachers taught him caution. "Why are you in my room together? Seeing the state Mon is in?" You, I'll kill you, I'll fucking kill you." "Duke, that's a rule violation, isn't it?" He had some insurance in mind. As expected, this will be handled thoroughly. Requiem of destruction, Dara. Energy builds, dark and destructive. The will to cleave through what approaches is palpable. Darkness gathers, intent on cleaving through whatever approaches. The will to destroy is fierce and unyielding. Surpasses all physical limits, the darkness whispers, unbounded and insatiable. The darkness's will to surpass all limits grows ever stronger, pushing Evan deeper into a struggle he cannot yet escape. Evan feels the darkness's will surge, pushing him towards a limit he hasn't reached yet. Evan's eyes widen in shock, his mind reeling as he grasps at the new reality. Evan's mind races, piecing together the dark implications of Christian's actions. Evan's eyes widen, his mind racing with disbelief. Evan's mouth hangs open in shock, his mind struggling to process what he's seeing. Foolish pride leads to nothing but failure. Gah! His body convulses, agony evident in every twitch. The mockery continues, leaving Evan in silence, his fate hanging by a thread. Evan's spirit remains unbroken, despite the harsh words. Christian's tone is dismissive as he speaks to someone, while Evan remains silent and observant. Marchioness Athasrai emphasizes the importance of Mysok's education, suggesting a future for him in dark magic despite Evan's silent presence. Christian nods in agreement, his tone confident and resolute. Christian strides forward, determination etched on his face as he declares his intention to prove himself. Christian's voice resounds with conviction as he declares his intent, the air charged with determination. Christian's resolve hardens, the future uncertain, but his path clear. Christian's voice carries a sense of determination, though the outcome remains uncertain. Christian's tone is resolute, hinting at a decisive move to come. "Ah, it's a pleasure to meet you. A pleasure to finally see your body." Christian Van Baron Kazar approaches, a smirk on his face as he acknowledges Evan's surprised greeting. Christian Van Baron Kazar continues, his tone laced with a hint of mockery. Evan, taken aback, stands still, unsure how to respond. Christian Van Baron Kazar's tone is sharp and cutting, leaving Evan momentarily speechless. Sered, the first disciple of Simon, commands the Blood Shadow Squad and holds a significant position in the Dark Mage family. Why the sudden interest in our meeting? Is this hell he's here too, so frozen? Why are you so surprised, Evan? Chris's tone is laced with regret as he wonders how Evan could have been a better swordsman or magician. Christian's eyes narrow, his resolve firm. Evan feels a chill as Christian prepares to make his next move. Christian's voice is cold, his determination unwavering. He must end this now, no matter the cost. Evan contemplates his future, determined to break the cycle of tragedy. Christian contemplates Evan's predicament, his expression cold and calculating. Christian's gaze hardens, his voice cold and resolute as he demands Evan to show no more resistance. Christian's eyes narrow, his resolve unshaken as he waits for Evan to make a move. Christian's lips curve into a smirk, clearly unimpressed by Evan's response. Christian's tone is dripping with disdain as he challenges Evan's expectations, clearly unimpressed by his response. Christian's voice drips with contempt as he spits out his disdain for Evan, leaving no room for misunderstanding. The world, in his warped perception, would be a much better place without him. Christian's gaze hardens, his interest in Evan growing despite his earlier mockery. Christian laughs, his interest piqued despite initial mockery. He finds Evan's reaction amusing but still not fully compelling. Christian leans in, his tone turning serious. Evan feels a chill. Christian's patience wears thin, his tone growing more urgent. Christian's impatience is clear, his voice growing sharper with each word. Damn it. Christian's frustration is palpable, each syllable a sharp retort. Even while staring right at the one who... The stench of slaughter permeates the air, unspoken accusation hanging between them. There's still 1 year. The demon's roar echoes through the halls. Shurhei indeed believes Christian will die, but doubts if it matters in the grand scheme. Evan realizes his efforts to stop Christian are futile, tension building as Christian prepares to activate the key. Christian holds the key, his expression calm but deadly serious. The contract items glow faintly, ready to amplify his power. The young master addresses Christian with urgency, his presence demanded immediately by a higher authority. Lead the way, Christian Van Baron Kazar declares with urgency. Christian's decision sets a grim tone for their journey. She must be aware of the struggles they're suppressing. She must be aware of their struggles, yet this meeting is more than it seems. Christian explains that this gathering in the underground garden is more than socializing, revealing its true nature as a place for conflict and competition among young dark magic masters. Juven is puzzled by Marissa's mention of the underground garden, unsure of its true nature. Young Master Kashmir will also attend, as a future 7CR demonial of the Destruction Dark Magic family. Christian continues his monologue, referencing young Lord Evan's past and the dangerous path he once treaded. Christian's voice carries an air of finality as he speaks, his tone unwavering. He is planning something drastic in the underground garden where danger lurks and few survive. Christian nods, his resolve unwavering. Young Master Mysak understands and prepares accordingly. Christian stands firm, his resolve unshaken. Young Master Mysak nods in understanding, preparing accordingly. Christian Van Baron Kazar heads out with purpose, his mind set. Young Master Mysak follows, ready for whatever comes next. Christian Van Baron Kazar strides confidently, purpose in his step. Young Master Mysak follows closely, a determined look on his face. Christian Van Baron Kazar addresses the young master with a formal tone, expecting his cooperation. The gift mentioned is likely to seal an agreement between their factions. Christian Van Baron Kazar plans his move with calculated precision, ensuring everything is ready for their meeting. Christian leans forward, his tone earnest but strategic. The underground garden shadows dance around them. He seems taken aback, glancing between Christian and the shop. "Hi? You were long gone," Evan muses, confusion evident in his voice. Lady Leah's presence seems unexpected, catching Christian off guard. He tries to maintain composure but struggles visibly. Lady Leah's arrival surprises Christian, who struggles to keep his composure as he invites her and Evan to sit. Lady Leah's presence hangs in the air, creating an awkward silence as Christian struggles to maintain his composure. Lady Leah's presence looms, casting a shadow over the tense exchange. Christian shifts uncomfortably, his words dripping with unease as he addresses both Evan and Lady Leah directly. Christian's tone shifts, laced with a mixture of unease and determination. The young master hesitates, unsure how to respond to this sudden turn in conversation. Christian's voice grows heavy with seriousness, his expression a mix of resolve and uncertainty. The young master fidgets, sensing the gravity of the conversation. Christian's voice drops low, his tone earnest yet tinged with unease. The young master shifts uncomfortably, sensing the weight of what is being discussed. Christian's voice is low and urgent, his tone conveying a sense of serious intent. The young master looks uncertain, clearly uncomfortable with whatever news he brings. Christian shifts uncomfortably, his voice low and urgent. The young master stammers, clearly unsure of what to say next. Christian's tone is urgent, his words suggesting something troubling is afoot. The young master seems uneasy, unsure how to respond. Christian's voice carries urgency, his words suggesting the young master should prepare for worst-case scenarios. The young master seems hesitant, unsure of the truth behind these warnings. The young master's voice tingles with urgency, his words hinting at dire preparations. Something is amiss, and the Union is tightening its grip. That means deeper intervention. Unfortunately, I don't have any connections within the Union, so I can't do much. You will? Merchants frequent the neutral zones after all. Are you suggesting intervention? Christian sighs, then speaks firmly to the young master. Christian laughs, clearly unimpressed. The young master looks taken aback, his face a mix of surprise and irritation. Christian Van Baron Kazar smiles coldly, clearly amused by the young master's reaction. The young master stammers, clearly uncomfortable under Christian's scrutiny. Christian Van Baron Kazar hands over a small, ornate key. The young master hesitates, clearly unsure about accepting it. Christian looks at the key, considering his next move. The young master remains hesitant, clutching his cloak tighter. Christian considers the key, his expression serious. The young master hesitates, unsure of the consequences. Christian hesitates, his gaze flickering between the key and Evan. Evan remains calm, offering a subtle reassurance. Christian considers Evan's offer, his expression cautious but intrigued. Christian hesitates, his eyes narrowing as he considers Evan's request. Christian looks skeptical, his gaze shifting between Evan and the treasure in question. Evan reaches for the 5-star treasure, his eyes gleaming with determination. Basis on clues from my illusion magic and demonio fights. Ready to face whatever comes next, the young master acknowledges Christian's trust and determination. Christian's determination hardens as he readies the key, preparing for a confrontation. Christian's resolve shines through, his determination unwavering as he prepares to activate the key. Evan struggles to keep up, his fatigue evident in every word. Young Master's interest seems genuine, but there's an underlying sense of curiosity from Christian. Young Master Idrin, vampire by nature, is older and inherently cruel. Simon killed his kin when he left. Idrin's family, the Bloodsword Mages, are among the elite clans. Christian seems interested in sharing details about her family, keeping some information confidential. Christian continues to press Idrin, seeking information about her family, while she remains cautious and curious. Christian's eyes narrowed, his curiosity piqued by Idrin's family ties. She shifts uneasily, a mix of defiance and interest in his gaze. Christian's tone is laced with sarcasm, clearly unimpressed by Idrin's response. She shifts uncomfortably, sensing his dissatisfaction. Christian's tone carries a hint of mockery, clearly unsatisfied with Idrin's response. She fidgets, sensing his disapproval. Idrin hesitates, her voice barely above a whisper as she speaks. Christian's tone remains cold and unyielding. Idrin's voice trembles as she questions Christian's true nature, unsure if he is a force of brutality or perfection hidden behind a facade. Christian remains unwavering, his tone cold and unyielding. Idrin's voice quivers, clearly disturbed by Christian's tone. He shows no remorse, his coldness unyielding. Idrin's tone sharpens, her voice carrying a hint of accusation. Mother, she has changed. The accusation lingers, sharp and unyielding. Please hold on just a little longer. The tension builds, stretching out each second. Please endure just a little longer. The tension stretches thin, hanging by a thread. Who's your Hyung? The question lingers, filled with disdain. Christian looks at Evan with a cold gaze. You have something to do at the Prince gathering. Christian Van Baron Khazar commands with a stern voice, his gaze unwavering. You have something to do at the Prince gathering. Christian emphasizes, but if you fail, his tone leaves no room for doubt. Christian pulls out the key, his fingers trembling slightly as he prepares to activate it. Christian takes a deep breath, his hand trembling slightly as he holds the key. The atmosphere grows tense. Christian hesitates, his gaze flickering between Evan and the key in his hand. Christian's voice carries a mix of irritation and disbelief. Evan's response is sharp, hinting at unresolved tension. Evan's response is equally sharp, filled with unspoken tension. Christian's sharp tone cuts through the air, challenging Evan's presence. Kashmir's expression shifts, a mix of surprise and caution forming on her face. Christian's eyes narrow, his tone sharp. Kashmir's expression betrays a mix of surprise and caution. Christian's eyes lock onto Kashmir, his tone sharp and unyielding. Kashmir swallows, a mix of surprise and caution flashing across his face. Christian's tone remains firm, but Evan senses a hint of vulnerability beneath it. Christian's voice carries an edge, challenging Evan directly. Evan stands firm, his expression unyielding, ready for the confrontation. Christian's words carry a mix of arrogance and challenge, pushing Evan to respond with equal firmness. Christian's voice challenges Evan to see past status, suggesting true brotherhood through shared experience. Christian's challenge hangs in the air, unspoken but heavy. Christian's challenge hangs in the air, unspoken but heavy. Christian's tone shifts, becoming more casual despite his serious intent. Evan hesitates, unsure of how to respond. Christian's tone lightens, almost playful, but his eyes remain focused on Evan. Evan stutters, clearly caught off guard by Christian's sudden shift in demeanor. Christian's voice carries a hint of amusement, but his gaze remains intense. Evan falters, unsure how to respond. Christian's tone is sharp, challenging Evan to respond. Evan looks taken aback, uncertainty crossing his face. Christian looks around, his expression serious as he contemplates the traps. Evan stands beside him, confusion clear on his face. My loss, but we both contain deadly traps. Let's call it a good match, Prince Christian. That's why I still vividly remember where I found all the traps, Kashmir into a trap. But when first came, Hyung, did you really think this was just a bet? Something I could have, never even dreamt of. So, instead of Hyung and Dong Saeng, how? Christian Van Baron Khazar hands Evan a small, glowing artifact. Arrived? Oh, looks like qualifications? Christian's tone is sharp and unyielding as he challenges Evan, who stands dumbfounded before him. The artifact in his hand glows faintly, adding to the tension. Evan stands speechless, shock evident on his face. Christian Van Baron Khazar's tone remains cold and calculating. I cannot disobey orders, Prince Christian. I cannot. Christian's resolve hardens, his next move unseen but deadly. What is happening? Christian's hand moves towards the key, his expression unreadable. Evan's confusion grows as he realizes the key might be activated from outside their location. Energy flares as Evan commands everyone to raise their demonic powers. Tension hangs in the air as everyone braces for Christian's next move. What are you doing? Christian's fingers dance over the key, his expression unreadable. Christian's fingers hover over the key, the room charged with tension. Christian stands with determination, fingers on the key. Evan's cry of despair cuts through the air. Christian's resolve hardens, his eyes focused on the key in his hand. Evan's voice trembles, his eyes wide with shock and disbelief. Christian's voice is cold and calculating, his gaze unwavering. The situation hangs in tense silence as Evan tries to comprehend what's happening. Christian's tone is chilling, his eyes fixed on Evan with an unyielding stare. Evan's expression shows a mix of fear and resolve as he speaks sincerely yet hesitantly. Christian's tone remains unyielding, his gaze unwavering as he speaks directly to Evan. Evan hesitates, his voice barely above a whisper as he attempts to defend himself. Even if it wasn't the 17th floor, right?